The Pilots were one of the best teams in the PGCBL just 2 weeks ago, beating these Americans out for a first place standing in the PGCBL West Division. Now the Americans are back in first, and a Pilots team that has lost 7 of their last 10 will look to prove themselves against one of the toughest opponents in the division. It's the Americans, it's the Pilots, it's PGCBL baseball right here on the Americans Baseball Network.
That the ace of the Giant pitching staff that season was Niagara Falls native Sal Magley. A league-low 2.71 earned run.
They chose Niagara Falls because of the stadium, because of the history, because they believe in Niagara Falls.
Tickets 716-215-6161.
And where do you play?
We play right at Sal Magley, gorgeous stadium.
Set the 1-0 to Boyle. Is hammered to right field.
Go, baby, go, baby. Go,
Come
baby,
here,
go,
fence!
Baby.
That ball is way out of here.
Welcome into Sal Magley Stadium for PGCBL Baseball. Americans starting off their month of July, taking on the Newark Pilots. It's going to be a fun matchup. Pilots had first place for about the first week or two of the season. Now the Americans tied for first with the Muck Dogs. So these two teams have been some of the best in the West Division all season long. I'm Andrew Roberts. I'll be your play-by-play broadcaster for the entire season. I'll be joined momentarily by Avery Vogt. But for now, as the month of June wraps up, let's take a look at some of the leaders for the Americans statistically. Grant Moore leading the team in stolen bases with 25. That's more than he had in his entire college season. Evan Core in second with 11. In RBIs, Grant Moore also in the lead, but Paul Delanto close behind, and Graydon Miller already matching his 2024 total for the Americans. In ERA, Carmen Panaro leading the team with a spotless ERA. Jake Rocher has only given up 1 earned run all season, though. And batting average, Grant Moore at .470. That by far leads the team. Chris Casaldo and Graydon Miller also both well above 300. And that has the Americans in first place in the West Division right now. They're tied with the Muck Dogs. There'll be a 3-game series between those two teams later this week, including the 4th of July game here at the Barbershop. The number 3 team in the division right behind them, the Auburn Doubledays. Tarpskunks get back into the playoff picture in 4th. The Pilots are knocking on that door, as are the Pioneers, 2.5 games back of first place. Red Wings and Ironbacks still in the basement as they have been most of the season, but most notably, the Tarpskunks sweeping the Doubledays in a doubleheader. They're right on Auburn's tail, and they are back in the playoff picture, knocking out the Pioneers and keeping out the Pilots. So that's going to be something to watch for the entire month of July. And, I mean, any of those teams could also catch the top 3. It's only 2.5 games between Newark and Elmira and the top teams in Batavia, Niagara Falls. So it's going to be a very close top 6 throughout the month of July. And the Americans coming out to the field right now, but the Pilots are batting first. So we'll give you their lineup. Chris Finicario going to lead things off in center field, leading the team in batting average. Nick DiGiacomo bats second, playing right. Cooper Loyal and Noah Brooks, the heart of this order. Brooks just won PGCBL Player of the Week in Week 4. Anthony Hector, the switch hitter, batting 5th. And then some lower numbers in the bottom 5, but still capable players. Mason Haar, the extra hitter. Paletto in left field. Evan Brock, pretty new to the team, plays second. Alex Wooten at first. And Parker Zeisser came midway through the season from Geneva to catch for this team. And the Americans coming out right now. They will have Luke Blandino on the mound. Blandino on the year is 2-0 with an ERA of 2.14 and 17 strikeouts. Making his 5th start this season. 3 of those first 4 were against either the Ironbacks or Red Wings, but he did do well against the Doubledays as well. So he's proven that he can stay in the game against playoff caliber teams, looking to do the same here against the Pilots today. And I mean, this is his second year as an American starter. He has been a rock for this team, 2 years and counting. He's on an extra day of rest. He is ready to go for this start. And he's approaching this the same way he would any other game. It doesn't matter the opponent. He just wants to throw strikes and just hoping that the team can continue to keep it strong behind him as well. Bringing in the mascot as well as our in-arena host, Yankee Doodle Dan. But soon we will be pausing for the national anthem here at the barber shop. It's also Canada Day, so I want to wish a happy Canada Day to all our Canadian players and interns. Teddy Yo, our sole Canadian intern on the staff, and then Nolan Jackson, Keegan Bazinet, Austin Barton, and Ian Huang representing the team from Canada. Huang is in the lineup today on his nation's favorite holiday, of course. All right, and we will pause for the national anthem. We'll be back in just a moment.
And Boy Scout Troop 47, please help to give them a warm welcome as they make their way onto the field. And now, fans, please welcome to the stadium for the singing of our national anthem. Please help us welcome the Niagara Falls Community Choir.
Back after the brief break for the national anthem, and we'll have Cam Perot, our very own DJ, throwing out the first pitch today. You can see that in just a moment, and then we'll be underway for the top of the first inning. Luke Blandino on the bump to face Chris Finicario, Nick DiGiacomo, and Cooper Loyal. But first, we will have O Canada. We'll take a break for that. Thanks to Teddy Yo for Canada Day edition of O Canada. And we'll have Cam Perot throwing the first pitch before we get underway with this top of the first inning. Cam needed a ball, but now coming out to the field, Keegan Bazinet will catch.
Cam, the mound is yours.
And here he goes. That's going to be a strike. Cam Perot might have our best ceremonial first pitch of the season right there. And he's going to run up to DJ this game. We'll have Avery Vogt, who's filling in over at the DJ computer, coming on the broadcast in just a moment to join me. But Luke Blandino getting ready for his 5th start of the season. Calm and collected with an extra day of rest to face the top of this Pilots order. If the Pilots can get him in on base, they'll bring up the reigning PGCBL West Division Player of the Week, Noah Brooks. He's DHing tonight and batting cleanup. But Luke Blandino looking to get through these first 3 batters cleanly. Finnicario, DiGiacomo, Cooper Loyal. All capable hitters as well, batting 286 or higher with OPSs in the 800s or 900s. Some more of the best hitters on this Pilots team around Noah Brooks in this top 3 of the order. It's really a divide between the top 5 and the bottom 5 with this Pilots order. Some of their best names in this top 5, and then giving some other players a chance in the bottom 5 of the order. But here, just in time for game time, is Avery Vogt. And Avery, how are you doing today?
You know, it's a great day for baseball, Andrew. It's one of my favorite non-American holidays. It's Canada Day. It's always good. You know, the Blue Jays up in Toronto playing their red jerseys. It's always a great day here.
I mean, those Blue Jays beat the Yankees last night. As a Sox fan, that makes me very happy. So.
Yeah, and last I checked, they're up 9-4, Andrew, so you can't be mad about that.
Definitely not. Actually, a couple of Americans players on the day off going to see Jays Yankees for various reasons. Some Jays fans on the team, some Yankees fans on the team. But either way, here to see the game, and that is strike 1 down the pike. Harper bobbling that, but no runners on, so will not matter. It's a clean strike 1. Blandino sets, now delivers on the 0-1. It's a pop-up into the shallow infield. Harper's there, and Prey is there to make the grab. Shane Prey back at third base after having some arm troubles over the last week or so. Has arguably been the strongest third baseman for the Americans all season, Avery.
Yeah, we saw a little bit of rotation there at third base. We have players like Alan Ramos over there and Brady Bowles, but yeah, Shane Prey's back there today. Let's see how he does.
Yeah, and Shane Prey got some time at first base during that stretch too, filling in Game 1 on Sunday's doubleheader for Graydon Miller. But right now, Nick DiGiacomo with an outside ball to start his at-bat with 1 down. Luke Blandino looking to make this 1-2-3 and keep Brooks to the 2nd inning. The pitch will be fouled off to the right side into and over the bleachers. Goes right near the door to the visitor clubhouse.
That'd be a nice little gift for one of the players when they leave. Unless someone else finds it first.
Yeah, if the ball's dry enough. Torrential downpours about an hour or 2 before the game. Took some time for the field to dry off. The 1-1 is inside to put the count in the favor of DiGiacomo.
Yeah, as you mentioned, Andrew, it was raining earlier, but now it's cleared up a little bit. Got a little bit of the sun out. It went away for right now, but looks like a pretty good game today, hoping for no more rain.
Yeah, it's really just a spot thunderstorm. And that is going to be fouled off behind the plate into the bleachers. to even up the count again. It's been a back-and-forth battle between Blandino and the rising sophomore at Franklin and Marshall in DiGiacomo. Second team all-conference in high school, and then a strong freshman year in D3. That'll be a low ball 3 to fill up the count. 811 OPS as a freshman at Franklin and Marshall as well. I mean, that is a D3 school, but to be playing that much as a freshman is impressive.
Yeah, usually when you get on a team, you got to work your way through, but it seems DiGiacomo earned a spot right away.
That'll be way inside, and that'll walk to Giacomo. So barring a double play, Blandino will have to face Brooks this inning. Noah Brooks, one of the hottest hitters in the entire West Division right now, but Cooper Loyal up first with 1 on and 1 out. Loyal, the third baseman, another one of the big name hitters for this Pilots team. Spent a couple of years in Geneva, now here in Newark. That's going to be a high chopper, picked up by Prey, out at second. Oof, is close, but it looks like it'll go in as a fielder's choice. So the runner at second in Nick DiGiacomo is out. Cooper Loyal will take his spot at first base, and Noah Brooks up to bat with the runner on. Will end up being a 6-4 fielder's choice. 5-4 rather. Ooh. That'll be way inside. And another ball up and in by Blandino. That spot over the righty's batter box is where a lot of these pitches have gone thus far. Blandino looking to reel it in. That'll go lower, but similar spot on the inside to make it 2-0. Blandino's already walked one batter. Gotta keep those walks in check here. 2 down. And that is going to be a pop-up foul over everything on the foul side. Boyle, a Division I product, attends University at Albany. Doing much better here for Newark than he did at school in his sophomore season. That'll be a fly ball into shallow center. Ends up being more of a pop-up. And it'll be grabbed by Graydon Miller for out number 3. So the Pilots unable to get a hit and unable to get a runner on in that, unable to get more than one runner on rather at a time in that top of the first inning. We'll head it to the bottom of the inning and give you the Americans lineup after the break.
Fans, if you've been to a game, you know that I give away pizza to a lucky fan in the middle of the 3rd inning. But what you might not know is that Sammy's is located right across the street. They've also been family owned and operated for 3 generations since 1962 and originated the half tray of pizza. But if you're hungry at the game, you can stop by the concession stand and get a slice of Sammy's for yourself.
Back early here for the bottom of the first to give you the lineup for the Niagara Falls Americans. Up first for the Americans today. Apologies for the score bug in the way, but Grant Moore going to be leading off and playing center. It's 3 straight lefties to start off against the righty Jake O'Connor. That'll be tough for Newark. Tommy Mathey and Gavin Boyle, the other outfielders, the other lefties. Ethan Madison will be the DH bat cleanup. Paul Delanto following him up as the extra hitter. Dalton Harper doing the catching, batting 6th. Chris Gazaldo, one of the hottest hitters on the team, batting 7th and playing short. Ian Huang, the switch hitter, bats 8th. Shane Prey back at 3rd, batting 9th, and Graydon Miller will round things out and play first base. Interesting to have Graydon Miller at the bottom of the order, even with how hot his bat has been. Maybe to set up Grant Moore as sort of a second leadoff hitter. But Jake O'Connor will pitch to these Americans for the 2nd time this season. Gave up 1 run in 4 innings against them in Newark, 4.41 ERA on the year with 19 strikeouts. So Avery, the Americans lost 5-1 against O'Connor last time. They're going to look to take advantage of their knowledge of his pitching style here today.
Yeah, it seemed like Will Cordero and Paul Wolf here wanted to go for a little bit more of an aggressive start. As you mentioned, Andrew, we have 3 lefties in this lineup. So that means O'Connor's got to battle 3 lefties right away, which, like we mentioned before, lefty versus righty is always the prime matchup for the batters. So let's see how the Americans attack here and try to get some runners on and runners in scoring position.
The only other player that will bat left today is Ian Huang, the switch hitter. There's not that many lefties on the team, but Will Cordero stacking them all at the top of the order here. Cordero serving as third base coach tonight per usual, and that'll drop in on the low edge for strike 1 on Grant Moore. Moore leading the league in batting average, on base percentage, steals, and triples. So it's really made that case for a potential MVP at the end of the season over his first month. The 1-1 pitch will be fouled off down the first base line. O'Connor 1 strike away from retiring Grant Moore. That's not an easy feat.
No, not at all, Andrew. Grant Moore's always a tough customer when he comes up to bat, so let's see if he can stay alive here. Maybe get a hit. We'll see how it goes.
The 1-2 pitch. He's going to be upstairs, make it 2-2. Yeah, Grant Moore's battling here. Also, a pretty frequent flyer in the walk category. Grant Moore has 19 walks on the season. That's good to lead the team. Next closest is Brady Bowles, who has departed after a month in Niagara Falls. That was always the plan, was to play here in the month of June and then head out for July. A bunch of his Panola teammates still here with the Americans, though. 2-2 pitch is going to be lined into right field. And it's going to drop in front of Nick DiGiacomo for the base hit. Grant Moore already has his hit for the day. And that puts the on-base streak at 21 games.
Now batting right fielder number 2, Tommy Mathey.
A new hit streak beginning to form as well over these last few games. It's just one game this season that he's played in and hasn't gotten a hit. It's the one game he didn't eat Chipotle pregame. So.
I was going to stick to your superstitions.
Yeah, and a lot of players at Chipotle today. It's been a popular spot. I had the chance to eat there for lunch as well, but it's an inside 1-0 pitch to Tommy Mathey. Second straight lefty. Cordero will give Evan Core the day off and let the lefty Mathey fill in right field. So Moore's hit streak is back up at 4 games after he was unable to get a hit against the Ironbacks on Thursday. But it's 2-0 here on the 2-hitter Mathey. And that'll be a line drive into right field. DiGiacomo going to make the grab this time around. Grant Moore headed back to first, and you'll slide in just in time. Almost was a double play from right field to first right there, but will be the line out for Mathey as Grant Moore holds on.
Yeah, as you mentioned before, Andrew, Grant Moore extending his on-base streak to 21 games. That's the type of guy you want leading off this team for the Americans. If he's getting on base, clearly he's putting some across here for the Americans, getting some guys on base, and hopefully producing some more runs across.
Definitely. And Gavin Boyle, another big bat. A bit of a cold start to the season, but he has shown over these 2 years what he's capable of. Now Moore taking off for second. He gets there. The throw almost went errant, but a nice move by Anthony Hector all the way from shortstop to make the stop on that one and keep Grant Moore at second base.
Yeah, it's his 26th stolen base on the season. That's an impressive number right there, Andrew.
Yeah, on pace for 50. Had 25 in the first half of the season. Just needs to average a little more than 1 a game. It's a high chopper. The slide by the second baseman, Brock, to record the out at first base. Evan Brock with a nice sliding play. And it's slippery out here, so that's a risky one as well, but that'll keep it just the sole runner in Grant Moore, who's now on third. after the stolen base and then the advance on the ground out.
Yeah, as you mentioned, Andrew, it rained before this game, so it's going to be maybe a different couple bounces and bumps here for the ball, so the players got to be aware of that today.
Ethan Madison, the cleanup hitter, looking to drive Grant Moore in. First pitch will get in there down the pike for strike one. A little bit on the high end, but still pretty well into the zone. The 0-1 from O'Connor is going to be lined up the middle, and backing up is the center fielder, Finnicario. He'll make the catch for out number 3. So the Americans get Grant Moore to third, but unable to score in this first inning. We'll send it to the top of the second, still scoreless. Be right back.
Thanks, Yankee Doodle Man.
That's better.
Hey fans, don't forget that this Friday, the Niagara Falls Americans are back here at the barbershop against the Canadian Muck Dogs.
I'll pull this up for you for the bottom innings. I have a paper copy here too. Or we can just pass the paper copy. Back here for the top of the second inning from the barbershop. Top of the second, as well as the entire second inning, is brought to you by Bully Hill Vineyards, a great place to grab lunch and taste over 40 different wines. Go to bullyhillvineyards.com for more. So the Pilots going to have Anthony Hector, Mason Haar, and Jacob Poleno due up to face Blandino in this second inning. Anthony Hector, the biggest bat of those three, batting .302 with an .823 OPS. So Avery Blandino can make a statement right here by retiring Hector to start the inning.
Yeah, I mean, like you said, Andrew, Hector's leading off this inning. But something I'd like to point out is at the end of last inning, Blandino had no runs across, and he had batters like Cooper Loyal and Nolan Brooks. Very high batting percentages with a .314 and a .404. So, I mean, I think he's definitely capable here of retiring Hector right away. But let's see what happens.
Definitely. Luke Blandino has battled with the best all season long. Anthony Hector among the best on this Pilots team. Not quite on the league level the way Noah Brooks and Chris Finnicario are, but still a very competent hitter on this team. The switch hitter batting from the left side to force another right-left matchup, this time on the opposite side of the game. It'll be an outside and low ball one to the batter Hector. And interestingly enough, number 6 for the Pilots is batting 5th, and number 5 for the Pilots is batting 6th. Would have been a lot easier if they just switched that around.
They put on the wrong jerseys in the clubhouse today there, ain't you?
But, I mean, for those of you who don't know, then again, shortstop is number 6 on the positional numbers, so Hector playing short today. He's at least number 6 at 6. That's going to be a high fly ball into right center field. But they and Moore both chasing it down. Moore will make the grab. The range from Grant Moore there was very impressive to make that grab.
Yeah, we see a nice productive out there from Blandino. Gets about 3 pitches in. Forces the out from Anthony Hector right to Grant Moore. So I like that start from Blandino for this inning.
Up next, Mason Haar, the extra hitter. 133 hitter, but a .581 OPS. A couple of RBIs. So he's had his moments on this team for sure. The check swing. They will say he went strike one after the check with the infield ump. Mason Haar, originally from Victor, New York, pretty close to Newark. That's going to be fouled off right into the netting. And if that net wasn't there, that could have gone right into the press box the way it was headed.
Yeah, so it's a little jump there for me, Andrew. Would have thought that ball would have came right at us.
There was one in Geneva, and we didn't have the camera on for that game, but basically went right in front of my face with 2 fences in front, so I was certainly safe, but bit of a jump scare.
Yeah, whenever you sit in the crowd, you know that netting's there, but it's still just the instinct to try to avoid that ball regardless if it's coming at you or not.
I mean, if there was no net, would have to get the glove up, try and make the catch. But 1-2 with one down. It'll be outside over that lefty batter's box to even up the count. I was watching the Red Sox last night, and the color commentator over there, Lou Merloni, had to make a catch through the press box window. As a former ball player, had the instinct, but not something you see every day.
Yeah, I was gonna say, it's not something you usually would see every day, but we've seen some things like that. I can't remember what team, but they had their broadcasters out in the outfield in the home run, and the broadcaster caught the ball with the glove on his hand. It was definitely something you not see every day.
Yeah, more frequent from perhaps the sideline reporter, but 2-2 right here to the batter Har. That'll be low and away to fill up this count. Not the first full count Blandino's seen today. He walked to Giacomo with a full count earlier.
Let's hope for a different outcome here, though, Andrew.
Definitely. Mason Har. Blandino will try and get him to chase right here on the payoff pitch. Instead, it's inside for ball 4. So Blandino already given up a couple of walks. Been a minor issue today, as he's recorded plenty of outs in between.
Yeah, I mean, as you mentioned, Andrew's given up 2 walks today. I wouldn't say it's anything to worry about as of now. He's got no hits allowed, no runs allowed. I mean, it's going to happen, but let's just see how he bounces back a little bit here and see what happens.
So far, it's looking like another pitcher's duel. Blandino and O'Connor, some of the best on their respective teams. And it'll be Jacob Paletto up next to face Dino. It's outside for a ball. Paletto batting .261, .680 OPS. Last summer played down in Florida with the Delray Beach Lightning. That'll be outside again, 2-0. Delray, very nice town. It's a pretty close to most of my family down in Boca Raton, but Paletto looking to move north, get away from that heat.
That's not something you usually hear, but especially here in New York, you get a lot of cold days. But yeah, sometimes that heat down there can really get you.
A little different in the summer than the spring. I mean, plays for community college in Louisiana. It's Bossier Parish. 2-1 to Paletto here as he plays summer ball in a nicer climate up north. The 3-1 count. Apollo right in the stands behind home plate to watch this game. Loves to watch his team. The 3-1 pitch is going to be grounded right to Graydon Miller. Out at first, the throw to second in time. The double play will get the Americans out of the top of the second. We'll head to the bottom of the inning after the break.
My fellow American fans, my name is Frankie Morris, your social media manager. You can join us all summer long with many promotional nights and tickets just as low as $10. You can call and get tickets at 716-215-6161 and take a crack at the action.
Hey fans, this season get yourself the latest Americans gear. Hats, t-shirts, sweatshirts, baseballs, and much, much more. Stop by the merchandise stand by concessions.
Merchandise stand open at every home game. And today, being run in part by our box office, Teddy Yo and Roland Snyder. There today. Leah Fraun usually behind that desk, but helping out with our social media pages, one of our co-social media managers here. And Jake O'Connor still pitching for these Pilots, going to face Paul Dolanto, the extra hitter, followed by Dalton Harper and Chris Gazaldo. Paul Delanto, second on the team in RBIs, as I mentioned earlier today. So looking to add to that total in this game. It's an outside ball, 1 to Paul. Very hot start to the season for him at the Grand Slam against Geneva, and he was just hottest player on the team for a while. Still hanging in there with a .255 batting average and 756 OPS as well. But 1-1 on him right here. We'll see what he can do with this count. And it's going to be a pop-up in foul territory. Right into the home plate bleachers, VIP section. Some fans chasing after it. And as many frequent listeners here on the broadcast know, foul balls can be exchanged for snacks here at the barbershop.
Yeah, it's a pretty good deal, Andrew.
Oh, always a good deal. It's going to be fouled down the third base line to keep Delanto alive here. The product of Stony Brook. His team out there in Long Island was able to beat LSU this past season.
Really?
Yeah, not something you see every day, but Stony Brook has had their number over the history of their time there. And Paul Delanto getting a piece of that one to just barely stay alive on what looked from afar like it could have been a swinging strike 3.
Yeah, luckily he just gets a little piece of it there, just enough to foul it off, so he stays alive here.
Delanto looking for his first hit of the day, and that'll go way outside in the dirt to even up the count. Delanto battling here. Had the count against him most of this at bat, and now looking to battle back. Get a hit or take a walk potentially. Check swing, but Ump will not even look to first on that one. It's 3-2. Delanto pulling that back in time. O'Connor sets for the payoff pitch. The delivery, a swing and miss. On the breaking ball, Delanto swinging too high at it. And they'll complete the strikeout at first base. Delanto, the first batter retired of this bottom of the second.
Yeah, unfortunately, just couldn't get bat on ball there and gets the run and strikeout. But now we see Dalton Harper. Let's see what he does here.
That ball had some nasty movement on it. Not an easy one to hit. Harper gonna take a ball upstairs and inside to start things off. Harper batting 189, 687 OPS. We're going to break out of a bit of a slump in recent days. His hottest stretch came kind of in that middle part of June. Back on June 21st, a Saturday over in Canada. Nearly hit one out of the park at George Taylor Field. Went off the wall, he had himself a double. And he's had a couple of knocks like that throughout the season. Big cut and miss to make it 1-2. Harper has doubled twice this season. Both of those coming sort of in that middle to end of the month. That'll be in the dirt and gets past the catcher, Zeisser, to make it 2-2. Noah Brooks has caught a lot of games behind the dish for Newark, but he's DHing today, and Parker Zeisser getting his shot. Started in Geneva this season, then came over to the Pilots, and that'll hit Harper. Dalton Harper all season long has been taking a beating, and no different right here.
Oh, looks like the umps are going to talk about it, though.
Yeah, that was a close one. Appeared to go off Harper's elbow. Would go in as his 8th hit by pitch this season.
Yep.
And they will give Harper his base. Chris Gazaldo up next. Gazaldo has been on fire. 7 multi-hit games this season. Got his first extra base hit of his season over in Jamestown on Friday.
Yeah, we've really seen Gonzalo take a step here with these Americans. Fitted in right at that shortstop position, and like you said, Andrew's been batting hot so far, so let's see how he keeps this up here in this game against Newark.
Yeah, Gonzalo, very strong start to the season. Very similar numbers to what he had over at Panola. His .368 batting average, just below .370 at school. That's a line drive into left field. It'll drop right in front of Jacob Paletto to make it first and second. So Gonzalo's on first. Harper into second base for Ian Huang.
Yeah, as you mentioned before, Andrew, starting lineup with 3 lefties, but we got Ian Wang coming up, switch hitter, so he'll be batting lefty here. So let's see if he can do any damage here against the righty O'Connor.
Yeah, Jake O'Connor had some trouble with Graham Moore earlier, but was able to take care of Tommy Mathey and Gavin Boyle. So mixed results against the lefties in this lineup so far. Harper and Gonzalo have leads at their respective bases. Harper the lead runner. Some increased speed from last season. Down and in, but catches the corner for strike 1. Huang, very big start to the season, but struggled over the weekend. Batting average down to .278, OPS down to .796. The 0-1 is going to be fouled off. And I mean, Cordero has continued to start Huang, but at times has been pulled early from games by this coaching staff.
Yeah, we saw Huang lead off the order in the first game of the season, go 4 for 5, but ever since then he's been moving down the lineup, but he's been playing a lot, so definitely have some confidence in him.
Definitely the best option defensively at second base for this team. Been an absolute rock there. The 0-2 pitch is going to be lined down the first base line, drops fair for the base hit. Huang going to stop at first. 1 run coming in, and coming to third is Chris Gonzalo. So it's runners on the corners and a 1-0 lead for the Americans. Ian Huang is looking to get back on a hot streak, and this is certainly a strong start.
Yeah, he just got a piece of the ball enough there. Drops in the shallowish part of the right outfield there and drives in a run, and Dalton Harper.
Shane Prey up next also. Been a strong stretch of his own here, batting .325 with a .747 OPS. Prey has done well in limited time this week at the plate. And after the pickoff attempt, it'll be the first pitch to Prey from O'Connor right here. It drops low for ball 1. Shane Prey has strung together a little 3-game hit streak. 4 for 8 over that stretch. But only 3 games between Sunday the 22nd and Sunday the 29th. Sat out a good number of them trying to rest up. And now his 4th game in this 10-day span coming today.
Yeah, Andrew, I just was checking the scores, and a little update for you. The Blue Jays ended up winning 12-5 against the Yankees. I'm sure you'd love to hear that.
Oh, that's great to hear. We'll get you a PGCBL update momentarily as well. It's ones across the board, though, and out at first base is Ian Huang. Tries to get back on the pickoff attempt, cannot slide in time. So Huang taken right off first, but still the runner on third looking to come around. 2 down, and on third base is Chris Gonzalo. Harper scored on the RBI knock by Huang. So Huang, even though he's out, he did his job.
Yeah, he might have got taken off first there, but like you said, Andrew, got the knock across, drives in Dalton Harper, and he has the runner and Gonzalo on third base, so can't be mad about that.
Definitely. A little PGCBL update. Tarp Skunks beat the Ironbacks earlier today, 10-9. Only other active game right now is the Red Wings in Doubledays, which Auburn leads 3-0. Geneva had a little bit of a hot streak, mercied Auburn last week, but seems to be back to the daily business for the Red Wings. 3-1 pitch will go outside, and Shane Prey is going to walk, and as it goes wild, Chris Gonzalo comes in to score. Not something you see every day, a score on a walk, but technically on the wild pitch ball 4. So run coming in. Chris Gonzalo makes it 2-0 Americans.
Yeah, now we got a very capable hitter here with Graydon Miller with a runner on first. Maybe advance the runners here, maybe driving a run. We'll see what happens here with Graydon Miller.
Interesting choice by Will Cordero to put both Gazaldo and Miller in the final 4 batters of the order. 2 of the hottest bats on the team, sort of lifting up this bottom half of the lineup. And that'll go way inside, nearly hits Graydon at the elbow. So count is 1-0. Miller batting .362 this season. Has already tied his RBI total from a year ago, and his averages are even higher. 896 OPS to exceed 832 last season. So Miller headed into his senior year at Drury, and he just continues to get better and better as a baseball player and first baseman. The 1-1 pitch from O'Connor is going to drop down on the low edge of the strike zone. Miller, 5 hits over his last 2 games. So he has been on fire, especially in the very recent stretch. The pitch is going to be grounded down the third base line. It'll be picked up by Loyal, but Miller's going to beat it out for the hit. Graydon Miller, his 6th hit in 3 games. And in fact, he was 4 for 4 in Saturday's game. So Miller has just seemed to be reaching on everything over these last couple of days. He is now 6 for his last 6. That's just incredible. He's on first, Prey's on second after the walk, and Grant Moore has some runners on base, but a strike to him there. Single his first time up, but this would be an even bigger time for a hit, Avery.
Yeah, I mean, maybe get a hit here, drive some runs in, and drive his RBI total up even more.
That's going to be a line drive into left center. Looks like it's going to drop in the gap, and it indeed does. Moore's going to have a double here. Runners on second and third, and Prey comes around to score. It's now 3-0 Americans. And a very timely hit for Grant. Has a single and a double. I mean, if he keeps up on this trajectory, you know what we could be talking about.
I know exactly what you're talking about, Andrew. I don't want to say it because I don't want to jinx it, but I know what you're thinking there, Andrew.
Grant Moore already does have that triple speed. 4 triples on the season. Still looking for that first home run. Gotta wonder if it would be more likely for him to hit one outside the park or inside the park if he were to hit one.
With that speed, Andrew, I would think it'd be more of an inside the park home run, but you never know.
That's going to be a pop-up into the shallow outfield, and a jumping grab by Anthony Hector is out number 3. So 2 runners stranded in scoring position, but nonetheless, the Americans score 3 in the inning to take the early lead.
Guess what, Andrew? Free frappes for everyone.
Oh, yeah, free frappes. We'll send it to the 3rd inning.
Fans, if you've been to a game, you know that I give away pizza to a lucky fan in the middle of the 3rd inning. But what you might not know is that Sammy's is located right across the street. They've also been family owned and operated for 3 generations since 1962 and originated the half tray of pizza.
But
if you're hungry at the game, you can stop by the concession stand and get a slice of Sammy's for yourself.
Yep. It's going to be the bottom 3 of their order. Brock, Wooten, and Zeisser. Back for the top of the 3rd inning. Evan, Brock, Alex, Wooten, and Parker Zeisser, the bottom 3 of the Pilots order, will face Luke Blandino for the first time today. 3rd inning is brought to you by Greater Niagara Federal Credit Union, by Geico of Buffalo, Sammy's Pizza, and fittingly McDonald's, because the Americans just hit that 3-run marker. It's free frappes for everyone in the stands at this game. In every game, the Americans score 3 runs.
Yeah, Andrew, all the ancients here like to have a little hype around the streak of frappes alive. Unfortunately, ended a couple games ago, but it's always time to start a new one of handing out those free frappes for all the fans in the crowd.
Just had to be the absence of Teddy Yo. He was out at a baseball tournament. He was pitching, and that was the weekend that the streak got broken. But Americans back on the horse here. And Blandino with the 1-0 count against Evan Brock. There was another one low and in to make it 2-0. And Blandino has walked 2 so far today. That's how Newark has had their base runners in the early going. That'll be low and away this time. Blandino looking to avoid the 4-pitch walk against Brock. Brock fairly new to the Pilots, batting .238 with a .619 OPS in his early days with the team. And that'll be a 4-pitch walk by Blandino. Alex Woodman up next. And a lot of these Pilots attending Monroe Community College, an interesting connection there. The Pilots broadcaster, public address announcer, pretty much everything in their press box. Kyle French also works in the sports information office at Monroe Community College. So a lot of his guys coming over to the Pilots. And inside and low, ball 1 to Wooten.
Yeah.
And go ahead.
One thing I'd like to mention, Andrew, too, is playing club hockey at my school, St. John Fisher. We actually play at Monroe Community College's ice rink right there at Bill Gray's.
We got a line drive, foul down the third base line. But, Monroe right in Rochester, one of a few colleges in the town, alongside Fisher, alongside University of Rochester, RIT in town. St. John Fisher, the only Rochester school with an American in Robert Leach, as well as 4 of our interns here on the team from Fisher.
Sadly, the number's now down to 3, though, Andrew, after Justin's time here has been over for the summer.
Yeah, I still count Justin Royek after his first month with this team. He's headed to help out the Bills at training camp. And now 3-1, and Dalton Harper will come to meet with Blandino, try and help him refine that command of the zone.
Yeah, we know Blandino's got it. He can attack hitters and maybe looking to refine, like you said, Andrew, getting these balls in the zone. Fortunately, walked the first batter in Brock, but now he's falling down to a 3-1 count with Wooten. So let's see how he moves back in this at-bat here.
Blandino, usually very good command of the strike zone, always talking about throwing strikes. So there's got to be faith in him throughout this clubhouse for him to rebound here after 3 early walks. Blandino not frequently giving up walks this season, but that'll be his 4th today. Has not quite looked himself out there, but still time to rebound. And it'll be the catcher Zeisser coming up with 2 runners on, both on walks. Blandino has walked 10 batters over his first 4 starts this season. Now 4 in his 5th start. First pitch from Blandino will get in there for strike 1. So a fresh new at bat might be what he needed to start finding that zone.
Yeah, he just came out attacking on that first pitch. Threw a nice fastball right down in there and gets the first strike early.
Trying to keep that count in his favor with nobody out. The 0-1 will be in a similar spot. Catches that outside edge of the zone to make it 0-2. Blandino right back to his usual strategy. Aggressive in that strike zone. Checks on second base. Will fake the throw. Blandino, a pro at faking those pickoff throws. The 0-2 pitch to Zeisser after he checks on the runner on second, Brock. It'll be a fly ball down the first base line. It's going to drop foul. Right on that outer edge of the stadium. So 0-2 still. The batter, Zeisser, he stays alive after taking 2 strikes early. It's the first one he swung at this entire at-bat. Blandino checks on his base runner now, delivers. It's going to be low and away for the ball. Seems like he was looking for Zeisser to chase on that one after he swung on the 0-2.
Yeah, it seems like he was playing a little defensive when he fouled that ball off, but that time, no dice in the swing there.
Blandino checks on Brock, now delivers, and that'll go outside and wild. Runners go, and 2 in scoring position for the Pilots. First time that the Pilots have had runners in scoring position is in this 3rd inning. Americans thankfully gave Blandino some run support, so a bit of wiggle room here, but tying run at the plate in the form of Zeisser, so gotta settle in right here. It will be a wild pitch on the 2-2. It's another one fouled off to keep Zeisser alive. Zeisser hasn't really seen the results at the plate yet, batting 133, but always going to be a tough at bat. Spent his first 2 years at Monroe Community College. Spent a little time in Geneva this year, and now here with the Pilots. The 2-2 will go upstairs to fill things up. Blandino's had a lot of these 3-ball counts. And now 4 walks on the day, looking to avoid a 5th. That would load the bases for the leadoff man, Finicario. That'll be a line drive into right field for the base hit instead. First hit given up by Blandino today will put runners on the corners and knock one in for Newark. It's 3-1. So the RBI knocked by Zeisser. That's one of his first hits of the year. Zeisser headed into this game as a 2-for-15 hitter. So just his 3rd hit on the season. Leadoff man Finicario up for the 2nd time today as a high chopper goes foul down the 3rd base line. Finicario popped out to the 3rd baseman Prey his first time up. Looking to knock in some more runs and make this close here. He represents the go-ahead run. Put a strike on the count here. That'll go inside on the breaking ball to even things up. Blandino appears he was looking for that to break back into the strike zone, but doesn't have that spin in the end. The 1-1 pitch will be a fly ball into left field. Grant Moore coming in from center, and he will make the grab. And tagging up from 3rd base is going to be Alex Wooten. It's a close one. Nice. He gets him. Dalton Harper makes the tag. That'll be out number 2, and still just 1 run on the board for the Pilots.
Wow, what a
There's
throw.
been some great defense by these Americans today, Avery.
Yeah, that right there is one of the displays right there. You got a guy in Grant Moore. Not only could hit, but play some amazing defense, as you see right there.
Will go in as a 7-2 double play. Or 8-2, rather. Grant Moore, the one to make the throw to Harper. That'll be a Nick DiGiacomo. Takes strike 1 down the pike. So a nice run by Grant Moore from center to left, and then a great throw. He's now the 2nd outfielder for the Americans to do that. Evan Corby in the 1st. That's going to be a foul ball right over this press box to make it 0-2, and Luke Blandino just like that. 1 strike away after it's widely known as the pitcher's best friend. The 0-2 pitch with Zeisser still on first. Swing and a miss. Luke Blandino has his first strikeout. Also gave up his first hit this inning, but just 1 run scoring. And the Pilots still down 2 as we head to the bottom of the 3rd. We'll be right back.
Thanks, yeah, keep it up, man.
That's better.
Fans, don't forget that this Friday is the 4th of July, and what's better on the 4th of July than a baseball game? We also have fireworks following the matchup between the Americans and the Batavia Muck Dogs. First pitch is at 6:30. Doors open at 5:35. Once again, fireworks to follow the game against our three-way rivals, the Batavia Muck Dogs. Grab your tickets from the box office on the way out of the stadium. We'll sell you the whole season, but you only need the cash.
Hey fans, did you know American season tickets are just $99? Come be part of the fun this summer at Sal Magley Stadium. Stop by the concession stands and pick up your season tickets today to be part of this historic season in Niagara Falls.
Back here for the bottom of the third inning. Season tickets still available with half the season remaining. So, it'll be Jake O'Connor continuing to pitch for these Pilots. And he will face Gavin Boyle, Ethan Madison, and Paul Delanto in this inning. Here's Gavin. Boyle started out his day with the 4-3 ground out. Now looking for his first hit of the day to lead things off here in the third. That right on left matchup going to come into play again here, but a nice breaking ball. The backdoor slider for strike one. The 0-1 pitch from Jake O'Connor is swung on and missed. So Boyle down 0-2 early. He's had some strikeout problems over the course of the year. Has struck out 11 times after missing a couple of weeks. Proportionally has been a frequent strikeout victim here, but that'll drop in the dirt for ball one. O'Connor was maybe hoping Boyle would chase on that one, but a little bit far out of reach for Boyle to think about.
Yeah, it didn't seem like he really had to make a decision there. It was way too far off the plate, so keep the bat on his shoulder.
Boyle showing the patience there, but swinging and missing right after for strike three. That's now 12 strikeouts for Gavin this season. Ethan Madison is up next. Flew out his first time up. Ethan Madison, the DH for this team. One home run on the year as well as 12 RBIs. And he's going to fly that one into shallow left center. It's going to drop for the base hit. The bloop single by Ethan Madison to get on base. First base runner this inning. Sixth hit of the day for Niagara Falls. Paul Delanto, a big bat up next. Struck out his first time up, but looking for different results with Madison on first.
Yeah, we see Paul Delanto, like we mentioned earlier, had that grand slam, so maybe look to rebound here, maybe get some power behind this ball and drive in the runner.
Delanto also 17 RBIs on the year, but I think he'd be happy even to advance Madison here. The foul ball will drop in the bleachers for strike one. Delanto, one of two strikeout victims of Jake O'Connor today, the other coming just recently in the form of Gavin Boyle. But, I mean, that leadoff strikeout, very different from how the rest of the inning went. The Americans went on with one out to score 3 runs. Strikeout was followed up by the Harper hit by pitch, pair of singles, a walk, and then another single, all accumulating with the Grant Moore double to knock in one more. And that's going to be another pop-up foul. Adds the second strike to the count. Delanto looking to avoid striking out for the second time today.
Yeah, we see him making some contact here with these balls, but we got to keep one in play here and look to push Madison across the second base and get a runner in scoring position here, Andrew.
Madison on first right now, just looking to advance. The 1-2 pitch will go outside to even things up. A nice take by Delanto there on a close call. Something that some batters would chase on, but Delanto chooses not to. Count is even. Here's the pitch. It's going to be a ground ball into the shallow infield, picked up by Brock. The throw to first is not there in time and a little offline. But now Ethan Madison down on the ground at second base. We hope he's all right. We'll wait for the ruling on the play, but in the meantime, just hoping that Madison's all right. It's slippery out there, not what you want to see on a day like this.
Yeah, no, that water's definitely cooling up, I'm sure, around these bases, and I'm sure Madison just caught the short end of the stick there and got a little slippery out there for him. Hope he's all right, though.
On the ground, and Americans training staff out there to check on him. So the play will be an error. But the more important thing is whether Madison's all right. He's going to get up here with some help. Coach Cordero there to give him some words of encouragement in this tough moment. And Madison will walk off the field. Glad he's all right, but he'll rest up for the remainder of this game.
Yeah, unfortunately. I'm not sure what happened there, Andrew. I'm going to guess it was the water in the field, but yeah, Madison just takes a tumble there and has to come out of the game. So maybe take the rest of this game off, get some rest. Hopefully his leg's all right, and we'll see him here soon.
Yeah, so Madison will walk to the dugout with the help of Coach Cordero as well as the Americans trainer, Krista. And we'll wait for the ruling on a pinch runner for these Americans. Plenty of options here. I personally think we're going to go with Ramos, but here's Logan Stickler to pinch run. Stickler has been in that extra hitter role / designated hitter role a lot this season, so a familiar spot for him in the lineup. And going to pinch run here as well.
Yeah, he was also part of a bit of a controversial play here at the barber shop when he had a home run taken back from him on a call by the umpires.
Yeah, but as of right now, Delanto reaching on the error and taking the spot of the injured Madison is Logan Stickler at second base. That'll be strike one on the new batter, Dalton Harper. Harper hit his first time up. And, I mean, he's taken a beating all season long. That went down as his 8th hit by pitch. The 0-1 is going to be lined into left center field. It'll drop in there for a base hit. And he's going to head towards second now. Run coming in. Logan Stickler will score from second base on the extra bases by Dalton Harper.
Yeah, just a nice piece of hitting right there from Harper. Just gets a piece of this ball, drives into the gap in the outfield. It gets an extra base hit and one across here for the Americans to extend their lead to 3.
Dalton Harper going to get credit with the double there. That's his 3rd double of the year. It brings Paul Delanto to the third base and drives in Stickler. He didn't have to be on the base pass for very long.
No, he seemed like almost like he was in a hurry back to the dugout and gets there with the run across. So
yeah, was placed in scoring position right away, and he did indeed score. Gizaldo now with the 1-0 count, singled his first time up. It's 4-1 Americans after the RBI double by Dalton Harper. Great to see Dalton swinging the bat at his best again after a little bit of a cold spell to end the month of June. The 2-0 pitch from O'Connor to Gazaldo is going to be grounded right to the shortstop, Hector. The throw to third instead of first base. It'll be the out there. Second out of the inning. Run will score, though. It's 5-1. Goes in as a 6-5 fielder's choice. Safe at first is Gazaldo. And coming home with the RBI for Gazaldo is Paul Delanto. Harper tagged out at third base. And now it'll be Ian Huang with the runner on first and 2 down. First pitch from O'Connor to him is low for the ball. So the Americans scored a trio of runs in the second inning, adding 2 more in this bottom of the third after the Pilots struck for the first time in the top of this inning. It's the reverse of the final score in Newark a couple weeks back when the Pilots won 5-1. But I mean, these Pilots have lost 7 out of their last 10, and the Americans are now in first place. It's a very different look at the standings from the first time these teams played a couple weeks back. It's going to be a line drive down the first base line, but goes foul. Huang has it 2-1 in his favor here. On first base is Chris Gazaldo after grounding into the fielder's choice. Can he advance here? He takes off on the pop-up by Huang. Actually ends up being more of a standard fly ball into center field, but it'll be caught for out number 3 by Finnicario. So the Americans scoring 2 more to make it 5-1 through 3 innings. We'll be right back with the top of the 4th.
My fellow American fans, my name is Frankie Morris, your social media manager. You can join us all summer long with many promotional nights and tickets just as low as $10. You can call and get tickets at 716-215-6161 and take a crack at the action.
I need to see the replay because part of me thinks he would have gotten there anyways. Yeah. It was Delanto reached on the air. The play that Madison got hurt. Let me look for myself. Okay, so there's Madison walking off. Alright, let's see this. I'm watching.
That's going to be another pop-up foul. Looking out for the second. Keeps working to advance. 1-2 pitch. There on that. Ball into the shallow end.
Alright, here it is.
Even. Here's the pitch. It's going to be a ground ball into the shallow infield. Picked up by Brock.
Ooh, it's close. It's close. Yeah, I think it's an error. And I'll stick with your judgment call anyways. Back. Shit, I might have been on.
I think it's an error. And I'll stick with your
Back here for the top of the 4th inning. The Americans leading 5-1 over the Pilots, and it'll be Cooper Loyal, Noah Brooks, and Anthony Hector here to start off this 4th inning. 4th inning here on the Americans Baseball Network, brought to you by the International Brotherhood of Electrical Workers, Local 237, by Johnny Ryan and Coca-Cola. Andrew Roberts still here. We'll be joined back by Avery Vogt in just a moment. You can get all your Coke beverages at concessions. Cooper Loyal with the 0-2 count now from Blandino.
Ooh.
Gets in there for strike 3. It's a 3-pitch strikeout by Luke Blandino. The first one that he's forced looking. It's consecutive strikeouts for him. So
Yeah, it's a
Blandino turning on the heat.
Yeah, he seems to find that command back a little bit after giving up a few walks. But, yeah, as you mentioned there, a 3-pitch strikeout. Nice to see from Blandino.
Just one hit allowed today, but Noah Brooks up as he takes the ball to start things off. The 1-0 pitch is going to be lined down the first base line. It'll drop foul right at the wall. I mean, a little bit earlier on that timing. Could have been a double off the wall right there.
Yeah, but fortunately we see a foul ball there, and Tommy Mathey kind of crashed into the fence there, but seems to be all right.
And the Pilots, some early action in the pen. It's Ian Goodness. Ones across the board. Pitch from Blandino will be a breaking ball and stays a little high there and makes it 2-1. Ian Goodness has a brother on the team, Paulie Goodness. They play together now, or used to play together rather, at Finger Lakes Community College as well, but Paulie transferring over to Lemoyne. 3-1, and it's a foul ball to fill things up on Noah Brooks. Brooks popped out his first time up. Was to the first baseman, Graydon Miller. Brooks, the reigning PGCBL Player of the Week with the full count. Payoff pitch by Blandino. Will get in there.
Yes!
For strike 3.
Yeah, a little bit of a delayed call there from the umpire. Looked like he was going to let him walk to first, but no, he was signals for the strikeout.
Could see he was starting to pull back. So that will be the third strikeout of the day and third in a row by Blandino. That streak stretching back to the end of the third inning with Nick DiGiacomo. Anthony Hector looking to avoid being the fourth strikeout victim in a row. It'll drop low for ball 1. This will be the chance for Luke Blandino to strike out the side for the first time this season. If I recall, no Americans pitcher has done that yet in 2025. It's now 2-0. Blandino has had some walk troubles today, so hoping to avoid that here and keep on track with what could be an excellent feat.
Yeah, as you mentioned, he just produced these 2 strikeouts in this inning, and let's hope he keeps it up here. It's a nice strike there.
Gets in there, yeah. Outside edge, but right in that sweet spot. Will not be chased by Hector, but it's a strike anyways. And that's going to be a line drive into the outfield for the base hit. So Blandino unable to strike out the side, but still 2 down with just 1 on for these Pilots. Hector on first and Mason Haar up now. Haar walked on his first time up today. He's a 133 hitter. That was a nice knock by Anthony Hector. Got some height on it. And it drops right in front of Moore and Mathey in right center. And that's going to be a fly ball into the right center field again. This time Grant Moore coming over to make the catch for out number 3. Grant Moore's been busy out there today, and the Pilots still down 4 headed into the bottom of the 4th inning. We'll be right back.
Fans, if you've been to a game, you know that I give away pizza to a lucky fan in the middle of the 3rd inning. But what you might not know is that Sammy's is located right across the street. They've also been family owned and operated for 3 generations since 1962 and originated the half tray of pizza. But if you're hungry at the game, you can stop by the concession stand and get a slice of Sammy's for yourself.
Hey fans, this season you can connect with the Americans like never before with exclusive content on our social media platforms. Make sure you follow us on Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, and Twitter.
And thank you so much to Frankie Morris and Leah Fraun for keeping those social media pages up and running all season long, our social media managers. Frankie not here tonight, but Leah taking charge out there with our social media content. It's a new pitcher for the Pilots. Call to the bullpen will bring in Ian Goodness. Stepped away from the team briefly, but has come back on the year as a 9 ERA and 5 strikeouts. Goodness going to face Shane Prey as well as Graydon Miller and Grant Moore. And this is 24 on 24 right here. Shane Prey versus Goodness. And headed to coach first base is Derek Jesmondi. Americans have had a rotation of players filling that role. First pitch will be low for ball 1 to Prey. Be interesting to see if Logan Stickler stays in the game after pinch running or if they'll opt to bring in another pinch hitter.
Yeah, he's in that DH spot for Madison, so Cordero will have some options to see if someone else comes in to hit, but
a line drive into right center field rather for the base hit. Shane Prey on for the second time today. He walked and now he's singled. Prey's hit streak now up to 4 games. And he is 5 for his last 9.
Yeah, that's pretty good numbers there for Shane Prey. As you mentioned, Andrew hits it right of the outfield and gets a guy on with no outs here. So let's see what happens here for the Americans.
Graydon Miller up next. And he'll take one just in the strike zone. Outside edge for strike 1. Miller singled his first time up. He's 6 for his last 6. So another hot hitter for these Americans. This bottom of the order is no joke.
Yeah, it seems to be the Cordero kind of stacked the lineup, as mentioned before, with the lefties up front, but he's still got some great hitters in the bottom of the order, so can't fall asleep here at the wheel if you're Goodness.
And a big lead at first base by Prey, but a foul ball by Miller to make it 1-2. Shane Prey looking for his first steal, or rather second steal of the season. 2-2 to Miller. The pitch is going to be lined up the middle, and that is going to be caught by Finnicario for out number 1. Graydon Miller, after a stretch of 6 consecutive hits, finally retired. I mean, he was tagged out at second on one of those hits back on Saturday, but other than that, an amazing stretch for Graydon Miller.
Yeah, as you mentioned, Andrew, before that he was 6 for 6, which is very, very impressive. But now we got even more of an impressive hitter with Grant Moore up here.
Grant Moore up next, and he is going to drive that to the third baseman, Boyle, out at second, but not in time at first base. Grant Moore not going to make it easy to turn a double play.
Yeah, no, he had some speed on that. By the time the ball got to the first baseman there and Alex Wooten, Grant Moore was practically past the base already, so clearly he's got that speed to beat out the double play.
I mean, speed is Grant Moore's middle name. 26 steals, 4 triples, leads the league in both those metrics. Tommy Mathey will follow him up as Grant Moore looks to turn this into a double like usual. Just got to get him on base. Grant Moore, big lead, but holds up on ball 1. It was a close one on the Pilots turning a double play on the flyout, but Moore sliding in just in time. The last time Tommy Mathey was up. Or rather 2 times ago, but Mathey 0 for 2 today. 2-0 pitch as Moore takes off. Moore gonna get in there safely. Throw is on line, but just not in time. 3-0 count on Tommy.
That's just some great base running there by Grant Moore, and he's got 27 steals on the season now, Andrew. That is just mind-blowing to me.
Just need a couple of those 2-steal games to get to 50. As long as he's stealing a base every game, should be on an excellent pace right there. The pitch will be a breaking ball and finds the outside corner. Seems like Goodness was looking for Mathey to chase, but it'll be a strike regardless. Unlikely he'd chase on a 3-0. And that's going to get in there for strike 2. Mathey was getting ready to throw his bat and take the walk, but now full count, 2 outs, runner on second. Big moment for Tommy Mathey, looking to knock in Grant Moore. Per usual, because he was gone on base, was able to get into scoring position. Payoff pitch is going to be a ground ball right to Hector. Bobbled, but sent to first in time for out number 3. Grant Moore going to have to hang there. And the Americans still up 4 headed into the 5th inning. We'll be right back.
No, I'm kind of thirsty. Me too. We could really use something. Yeah. Oh, thanks, Yankee Doodle Dan.
That's better.
Back here for the 5th inning, and this 5th inning is brought to you by Tropical Heating and Cooling. Call 716-870-0753 for expert service. Look around the West Division. Tarp Skunks beat the Ironbacks 10-9 in a Canada Day day game. But Double Days and Red Wings in action right now. Auburn leading that 3-1 in the top of the 5th. Geneva hanging in there. And I mean, that game could go either way at this point.
Yeah, it's always surprised to see how Geneva and Auburn go ahead, but right now Auburn's ahead, so we'll see how that game goes.
Auburn a little bit of hot and cold this season. That's been the story. So losing to teams like Geneva can sometimes come in that. Niagara Falls Americans have had some streaks of their own, though. Looking to string together a new win streak here. They lost 2 before winning the second of the twin bill on Sunday. Now Jacob Paletto, Evan Brock, and Alex Wooten here to face Luke Blandino. That'll get in there on the outside edge for strike 1. Blandino had 3 strikeouts in a row between the 3rd and 4th innings, looking for number 4 on these Pilots. It'll be a liner into left field instead. Going to drop in front of Gavin Boyle for the base hit. And in 3 innings, Luke Blandino has given up 3 hits after a no-hit first 2 innings. But nonetheless, some run support and some great pitching by Blandino, keeping the Americans comfortably in the lead so far today.
Yeah, it's always good to have some bat swinging with your pitcher going out there and dealing. So we've seen it from the Americans with 8 hits, 5 runs for them, and only 1 run here for the Pilots.
It's an upstairs ball 1 to the new batter, Evan Brock. Brock walked his first time up, batting .236 this year. A recent joinee of the Pilots. That's going to be a liner into right center. Moore is coming in, but Tommy Mathey will not have to move as much. He gets the grab. Graham Moore was ready for it, but they had it. And Evan Brock goes down. Alex Wooten up next. The righty walking his first time up, batting .143 on the year. Played all over the infield at Finger Lakes Community College, but it'll be a high ball 1 parallel to Wooten's helmet.
Yeah, it looked like Harper had almost like jumped there, like he was getting a jump ball there in basketball, but keeps it in front of him. No pass ball there.
No wild pitch either, as Paletto has to stay on first. It's 2-0, 1 on, 1 out. And that'll get in there for strike 1 on the inside part of the zone. Harper getting up a bit for that one, but not high enough for ball 3. And that'll be outside, or rather inside, to make it 3-1. Harper attempted to frame that, but wasn't able to pull it in enough. The 3-1 pitch will go low and away, and his runners on first and second. 2 ducks on the pond for Parker Zeiser. Alex Wooten has walked twice now today, and Zeiser had the RBI single his first time up. Another RBI chance right here. Would be his 3rd RBI of the season. Already doubled his RBI total season long today. Got a seagull flying right over the press box right now. Gets in there on the low outside corner for strike 1. And Blandino knows he gave up the knock to Zeiser early, going with more of a corner painting approach here for his strikes. That one too far outside. 1's across the board to Zeiser. Can he get 1 base again with this count? Single likely knocks in Paletto from second base. That'll be up and in. 2-1 count. Parker here with his brother Cosgrove. Both came from Geneva midseason. The 2-1 pitch from Blandino is going to be a ground ball, softly hit to Huang, out at second, and the out at first in time. The double play will end the inning. Another double play for these Americans. It's their 3rd of the day. We'll send it to the bottom of the 5th inning after the break.
Fans, if you've been to a game, you know that I give away pizza to a lucky fan in the middle of the 3rd inning. But what you might not know is that Sammy's is located right across the street. They've also been family owned and operated for 3 generations since 1962 and originated the half tray of pizza. But if you're hungry at the game, you can stop by the concession stand and get a slice of Sammy's for yourself.
Hey fans, you or someone you know have a birthday coming up? Why not spend it with the Americans? Package includes 10 tickets, 2 large Sammy's pizzas, 10 drinks, a customized Wegmans cake, autographed Americans baseball, and special recognition at the game, starting at just $175. Sign up online at www.niagarafallsamericans.com.
And speaking of birthdays, and speaking of Wegmans sponsoring the kids run as usual at the end of this 5th inning. We'll keep it here for that. Pilots will still have Ian Goodness on the mound as we make our way into the bottom of the 5th inning. Due up for the Americans, Gavin Boyle, presumably Logan Stickler, unless there's another substitution there, and then Paul Delanto. Logan Stickler was nearly the 3rd player on this team to hit a home run, but it was overturned against Batavia. It was right down that left field line, just to the right of the foul pole, but he at first thought it was a foul ball, started turning back towards the dugout, and the umpires ruled him out.
Yeah, it seemed like the Batavia coach came out and wanted to argue the call, so after a bit of deliberation from the umpires, they called him out instead of a home run, so I still think he got robbed of a home run. I don't know about you, Andrew, but...
Yeah, still got his Johnny Ryan. Johnny Ryan given out to every American who hits a home run at home this season. Pitch from Goodness will be swung on and missed by Gavin Boyle for strike 1. So far, the only official home run here at the Sal by an American was Paul Delanto's grand slam against the Red Wings. They've given up a couple homers as well, mostly to the Jamestown Tarpskunks. Count is even on Gavin Boyle. Jacob Haynes notably hitting a grand slam here for Jamestown. Their 2nd time at the barbershop. Another big cut and miss by Gavin. He has that home run swing, just looking to make contact.
Yeah, I mean, he's been taking some big chops out there, but hopefully one of these times makes contact and drive this ball into the outfield and get a hit.
Sent a couple over that right field fence last season. Takes a low inside ball to make it 2-2. Pretty much anything that's in his vicinity he's swung at, but the obvious balls he has still taken patiently. Just looking to find that swing. He's had a handful of doubles this season, but no homers yet. His batting average coming in today is at 176. It's further lowered with his 0 for 2 day. Count is now full on Boyle. Chance to walk right here. Payoff pitch will be fouled off to keep him alive. Pretty good crowd out here tonight. I think as the summer starts to settle in, the crowd's starting to get bigger here at the Sal.
Yeah, even with the rain before the game, yeah, we still got a decent turnout here for this game today.
That's going to be a high fly ball into right field.
Go
It's going back, and that
yes!
one's get out of here. Gavin Boyle, his first home run of the season, his 5th in Americans history. It's 6-1. Gavin Boyle finally strikes. He's been looking for it all season.
Wow, that sucker had some distance on it. That ball went out of the park, and he finally gets that home run he's been waiting for, and now he's earned that Johnny Ryan.
Gavin Boyle getting his Johnny Ryan. He's the 3rd American to get it. Johnny Ryan giving free cases to every single American who hits a home run. They are proud partners of their hometown team, the Niagara Falls Americans. So, looking like he'll get a Johnny Ryan shower in the locker room after that solo shot. It's now 6-1 Americans. Gavin Boyle with his 5th home run in 2 years as an American, but his first this season as Logan Stickler will stay in the game. Fill that DH spot. Check swing. They'll call it a strike anyways. So 1-1 to Logan. Logan Stickler still looking for that home run after the overturn. Could it be back-to-back? Instead, a high chopper. They'll rule it foul. So 2 strikes on the count to Stickler. Stepping in for Ethan Madison, who was 1 for 2 with a single, but then got injured sliding into second. Stickler, this is his first game since that overturned home run. And the count is now even at 2s. A little bit of framing there by Parker Zeiser, but Ump not falling for it. It's ball 2.
Yeah, we see that a lot from both sides of these catches with framing, but not fooling the umpires clearly as they're making the right calls here.
I'd argue it made more of an impact on Sunday in that first game against the Pioneers.
Yeah, that game, I feel like every pitch. I mean, obviously the catcher's going to do that try to do that every pitch, but yeah, they were really holding those pitches in spots, trying to look for strike calls.
Payoff pitch is going to be lined down that left field line foul. Most of Stickler's strong contact has gone down that third base line, whether it's in the air or on the ground. Did have a deep fly ball opposite field after his overturned home run, but right here he's going to walk. Logan Stickler gets on base, follows up the home run by putting himself on for Paul Delanto. And now Marcus Smith going to come in, speak with the umps, and also talk to his pitcher. Gavin Boyle has got to be feeling good with that one. It took 12 strikeouts, but he finally has a home run.
Yeah, we saw that ball. We saw the right fielder there, Nick DiGiacomo, looking back at that ball, and fortunately can't even make a play on it as it goes over the wall there.
But yeah, Gavin Boyle making it 6-1 Americans, and now Stickler's on first. Let's see what happens here with Delanto up. There's some action in the Pilots bullpen. Could see a change soon. But Delanto on the day has struck out and reached on an error. The reliever that's warming up for the Pilots is Cosgrove Zeiser. So that would be a fun sight because Parker Zeiser's catching. It would be the Zeiser brother combo, pitching and catching for this team.
Yeah, I mean, I'm sure they've grown up together, pitching and catching for each other, but maybe we'll see a little bit of a dynamic duo here when the...
I mean, that's got to be a pitcher's dream for Cosgrove, having a brother who can catch.
Yeah, I mean, growing up together, you got to be on, I would think, the same page, know each other's tendencies, so I feel like that could be paying off as a benefit here for the Zeiser brothers.
Definitely. I was talking to our own Canadian intern, Teddy Yo, similar situation with his brother. Catches at the high school level. But Parker and Cosgrove could have the chance to work together. Ian also has a brother on the team. Ian Goodness here with his brother Pauly. But Pauly plays the outfield for these Pilots. And it is going to be a new pitcher for these Pilots after just over an inning of Ian Goodness. Looks to be Cosgrove Zeiser coming in. Zeiser on the year, a .964 ERA, 0-1 record, 5 strikeouts. Attends Monroe Community College. So him and his brother Parker have gone to JUCO together and now playing summer ball together They left the Red Wings together after a rough start to the season, and now they're here in Newark. So this is a package deal is what it seems. And the Americans going to get to see these two in action together for the first time all season. We'll see how they respond to this excellent pitcher-catcher chemistry.
Yeah, as I said before, Andrew, I'm sure these two get along pretty well together, especially when they're pitching and catching. But let's see how the Americans respond here. I mean, they've been swinging the bats very well here tonight, especially with that home run by Gavin Boyle. But, yeah, let's just see if they can figure out this duo and get some more runners on the base.
Yeah, and every time Gavin Boyle came up, it felt like he was waiting for that bomb, and it finally comes today against these Pilots.
Yeah, I'm sure.
What a way to start July.
Yeah, I would say I'm sure he's in the dugout, kind of feeling like the monkey off his shoulders is hopping off, and it's kind of like a fresh breath of air after hitting that home run, knowing that he finally gets it and doesn't really have to stick in his mind anymore, and he can finally sit down and close the book on waiting for his first home run this year.
Got to see if that's a sign of what's to come here for Gavin Boyle, if he can continue to get hot here for these Americans and start to chase after the numbers he was putting up a season ago. Back in 2024, batted .281, 860 OPS, 24 RBIs, and 4 homers.
Yeah, I mean, he's got one here in the first day of July, so maybe we'll see the heat bring up here for Boyle and maybe get some numbers closer to his stats from last year.
Yeah, Boyle, arguably the best of the 2024 lineup to return to this team. Graydon Miller was pretty solid last year as well, but definitely has seen an increase in playing time compared to his 2024 campaign. So, been a bit of a breakout year for Miller. Gavin Boyle just looking to keep up the good work from a season ago.
Yeah, I mean, especially when you get a guy coming back for another season with the Americans, it's always good to see him produce for the Americans and provide some hits and runs here for the Americans.
And then Dalton Harper, the third bat returning for a second season, has been a rock behind the plate as well.
Yeah, it doesn't matter who the pitcher is, and got Dalton Harper behind the plate, or even Nick Past. You know you got some solid players behind the plate there, making sure the ball stays in play. And
Paul Delanto and Ethan Madison also listed as catchers on the roster, but have seen majority of their time in the DH and EH spots. Madison also got a game or two at first base in.
Yeah, seems like the Americans they have some depth on their roster, but they like to spread it around, get some players in different spots, so it's definitely getting players out there on the field.
Yeah, defense has been highly valued by these Americans, so it's been a lot of staple players at the same defensive positions, and then where the lineup gets interesting a lot of times is in those DH and EH spots, sometimes in the outfield, some rotation as well, and then some infield platoons at times. But for the most part, the defensive positions are pretty locked in for this team, which, I mean, I like to see that, especially with guys in their element at their natural positions.
Yeah, it's always tough to move guys around, like we've seen with the Ironbacks. They've had some guys play all over, guys playing catcher, playing second base.
Even the Pioneers do it a lot.
Yes, yeah, I mean, but when you get guys solidifying at their spots, you're going to have a solid guy at certain bases. Personally, I'm liking Chris Gazaldo pretty much locking himself in at shortstop. He's been very solid out there for the Americans. I'm liking him there.
And you need his bat in the lineup almost every single day, the way he's been hitting.
Yeah, I mean, he's got that 368 batting average. You're the guy he wants in that lineup, Yeah. He may not be hitting in the top 3, but still, down in that lineup, he's going to be definitely a guy to look for, and probably someone you have circled up on the scorecard there if you're on the other team.
I'd imagine this month of July, you're going to see Grant Moore get a lot of work, Graydon Miller, Chris Gazaldo. Really been your 3 best hitters to start the season. Gavin Boyle looking to get back in that mix as well.
Yeah, I mean, showing he's got the power there with that home run, so I'm definitely excited for him to see if he bounces out a little more here for the Americans.
And after what's been a long intermission, Paul Delanto stepping in to face Cause Zeiser. He'll be his first customer today. Delanto 0 for 2, but reached on an error. eventually came around to score. And a timeout again here. Feels like this stoppage now has gone about 10 minutes. Pitch from Zeiser. It's going to drop low for ball one. So Delanto looking for his first knock of the day, with Stickler now on first. It's 2-0 to Paul. A few guys on the team recently getting haircuts. I went to get mine yesterday. I was told the barber that cut my hair cut Paul's hair a couple weeks back.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not a very superstitious guy, but if you got a guy that cuts your hair, you know, players like to keep their ways, keep their hair in certain lengths, and go back to the same guys, and they always like to keep it a certain way, so it happened here for the Americans.
And it is the 3-0 count here on Paul Delanto, with Stickler on first. That'll drop low for ball four. Consecutive walks, the first by Goodness and now by Zeiser. Dalton Harper will have two runners on as he comes up to bat. Last time this was the case, he had an RBI double. See what he can come up with here.
Yeah, we got a runner in scoring position here with Stickler. We got Delanto on first, so we definitely got some guys here that can get some runs across here with Harper here at the plate.
Americans bats heating up again. They had a big game against the Pioneers in Game 2 on Sunday, after a series of 4 games where they did not score more than 5 runs in a game.
Yeah, I mean, that first game against the Pioneers, they fortunately just fell short in extras, but I believe that was the game that ruined the frat base streak. But today, the Americans just seem totally different and really getting these bats across today. I'm glad to see that.
The run totals over those 4 games were decreasing game after game. 5, 4, 2, and then 0. But it'll be a meeting on the mound after 6 consecutive balls to start Cosgrove Zeiser's day. So, I mean, even with your brother behind the plate, if you can't find the strike zone, that's going to be a struggle.
Yeah, I mean, I know they got the same last name, but I'm sure they're 2 different players, and fortunately so far we haven't really seen the command here from Zeiser, so we'll see how he turns it around here with his brother. So, excuse me, his twin.
But yes, Parker headed back behind the plate to continue to catch his brother Cosgrove. And now Dalton Harper coming up to bat with the 2-0 count. Zeiser delivers, and it drops low for a 7th consecutive ball. Walk here would load the bases, then there'd be nowhere to put Chris Gazaldo. That's not a situation you want to be in. Gazaldo 1 for 2 with an RBI. RBI actually came on the time he didn't get a hit. It's a fielder's choice that knocked in a run. The 3-0 pitch will drop low. It's a consecutive 4-pitch walk for Zeiser. He's thrown 8 consecutive balls to walk 2 batters. If only Gavin Boyle batted after these 3, then it'll be a grand slam.
Yeah, but no shame in play here for Chris Gazaldo. He's batting very hot so far this season, and let's see if he keeps it up here and maybe knocks some runners in.
His second extra base hit is what he's waiting on. That could be a big break for these Americans. Get them into position to potentially mercy here. That'll be in there for strike 1 on the breaking ball from Zeiser. Mercy rule in the PGCBL is lead of 10 runs or more after 7 innings. The Americans lead by 5 right now, but a grand slam would get them ahead by 9. It's going to be a high chopper to the third baseman, Boyle. The throw home, and now the throw to first. The out at first, but Still runners on second and third. And a lead for the Americans. Goes down as a double play. Runner well out at home. Ian Huang with 2 runners still in scoring position, looking to break this game open. It is in there on the outside edge for strike 1. Huang on the day is 1 for 2 with a single. Knocked in a run on that single, but later got caught on the pickoff attempt. Takes the timeout with the 0-1 count. Ian Huang, only a couple multi-hit games this season. That would be a big break for him here. Those multi-hit games came against the Muck Dogs opening night and the Red Wings in Geneva last week.
Yeah, I mean, we saw a hot start to his season against the Muck Dogs with that 4-for-5 performance. I mean, he's slowed down a little bit, but he's definitely still a very prolific hitter here for the Americans.
That'll catch the outside corner to make it 1-2 on Huang. And Zeisser now 1 strike away. The double play helping him out after a bunch of walks. 2 consecutive 4-pitch walks given up by Zeisser. And he came in after a walk of Stickler. So a timeout quick here as Huang faces the 1-2 count. The Zeisser brothers going to meet on the bump again. The Americans today have walked a total of 4 times. 3 of them have come this inning right after the Gavin Boyle solo shot.
Yeah, it's good to get some walks across, get some players on even after the home run, but unfortunately, though, just a double play. But let's see what Ian Huang does here to maybe drive in a couple more runs.
1-2 pitch, and that's a swing and miss for strike 3 on the breaking ball. Zeisser finding his stride late in the 5th inning, and we'll send it to the 6th. Now a 5-run lead after the Gavin Boyle homer. We'll be right back.
My fellow American fans, my name is Frankie Morris, your social media manager. You can join us all summer long with many promotional nights and tickets just as low as $10. You can call and get tickets at 716-215-6161 and take a crack at the action.
Back early here for the Wegmans Kids Run, and we are off. Yankee Doodle Dan looking to keep his undefeated record. He's backpedaling into second base.
Oh!
And he gets tripped up there. He's going to take some S-curves into third. Still wins this against just 4 kids today, but looks to be an adult-heavy crowd, so that makes sense.
Yeah, it seems Apollo tried to give a little edge there to the kids by trying to stop Yankee Doodle Dan there, but unfortunately for the kids, Yankee Doodle Dan is still undefeated on the season.
This crowd would have been great on $2 beer night. I mean, more
Yeah.
customers for Emma Crocker over at the beer garden.
Yeah, it seems like to be a lot more people who seem to be the age of 21, so it would have been a hot commodity there for the $2 beer night.
Definitely. So now it'll be the top of the Pilots' order after the Zeisser twins got some work in during that 5th inning. Chris Finnicario to lead things off, followed by Nick DiGiacomo and Cooper Loyal. Luke Blandino still going for his 6th inning of action.
Yeah, he's been doing very well out there today, Andrew. He's only given up 3 hits and a run, and I mean, for me, I think it's a very well done start here for Blandino, and let's just see how much further he goes in this game.
And the Americans continuing to give him run support. 5 runs in those first 3 innings, and now Gavin Boyle adding to the party with a homer.
Yeah, well, we'll expect him to see him getting showered later with that Johnny Ryan.
Definitely. Here we don't do beer showers. We do Johnny Ryan showers.
Yeah, I guess
for
it's a
home runs.
kind of a Niagara Falls thing now with the Johnny Ryan being made actually right here in Niagara Falls. So
The 6th inning here on the Americans Baseball Network, brought to you by Niagara County Legislator Chris Robins, Laborers Local 91, and Wegmans, the proud sponsor of the Kids Run. First pitch from Blandino this inning is inside at the chest of Finicario for ball 1. Blandino has pitched 5 innings, a 1-run ball. ERA coming in today was at 2.14. So he has been excellent again here for these Americans, and looking for his 2nd consecutive 6-inning start. The 1-0 pitch will be just outside. Harper trying to frame that into the strike zone. Umpire has been pretty consistent in not falling for that today.
yeah, I mean, that's the one thing you like to see behind the plate. It's not something really we can control, but it's always good to have a nice home plate umpire, as he calls a strike there.
Yeah, that one was definitely in there to make it 2-1. Blandino now at 81 pitches on the day, so his pitch count is still at a reasonable number here in this 6th inning as well.
Yeah, it's good to see, too. He's going some innings. He's not giving up too much. But, yeah, it's always good to see getting some length here out of Blandino to save some of the rest of the pitchers here on the roster.
That drops in front of Graham Moore for the leadoff single by Finicario. That's his first hit of the day. Nick DiGiacomo up next. And DiGiacomo has walked and struck out today, looking to make contact in fair territory for the first time against these Americans. That's a high chopper, and that breaks into the outfield between Gazaldo and Prey for the base hit. Consecutive singles for the Pilots. 2 ducks on the pond for Cooper Loyal. Lights coming on here at the barbershop as the sun sets over the horizon. Ended up being a beautiful day for baseball, but the field still a little wet, and unfortunately Ethan Madison getting a little tripped up earlier today.
Yeah, I mean, before the game, it seemed like it was going to be a real wet one out there, which I'm sure the field is still a little bit wet from that rain, but during the part of the game, it's been pretty dry and nice out for the nice day at the ballpark here at Sal Maglie.
Drops low for ball 1 on Cooper Loyal. Yeah, it has definitely been a nice day here at the barbershop. Once the action got going, Blandino going to send that down the pike, and it'll drop in for another base hit in the outfield. Run coming around to score. It's Finicario in time, but now caught between first and second is Cooper Loyal. He'll slide back in safely. Cooper Loyal nearly got caught in a rundown, but gets out of it in time. My goodness, these Pilots are having a good start to the inning. 3 consecutive singles. And now Boyle with an excellent slide back into first base.
Yeah, it seemed he was trying to go to second and kind of got caught between first and second there and tripped up on the way back to first and still made it back safe.
So it's runners on the corners for Noah Brooks. This is not who you want to have runners on the corners for, and it's way inside, nearly hits him for ball 1. Luke Blandino, a very solid first 5 innings, facing some trouble here in the 6th, but still an excellent day for Luke Blandino. This is bonus at this point. 2-0 on the count. Pilots have cut the lead to 4. That's where it was for most of the day, but Gavin Boyle had it at 5 after his homer. Blandino looking to recover here, but instead it's a ground ball to Huang, sent to second for out number 1, and not in time for the double play, but a fielder's choice at second base. Cooper Loyal going to be tagged out, run coming in. So RBI for Noah Brooks, but still not his first hit of the day. It'll go down as a 1-4-6. Anthony Hector up next with 1 down. Hector has flown out and singled. First pitch will get in there on the corner for strike 1. Hector spent his freshman year at Herkimer, now at Cerro Coso Community College for his sophomore season. The 0-1 pitch is going to be grounded down the first base line.
Nice.
The dive by Huang, but he drops it. Runners on first and second now. And it's going to be a throwing error by Huang. First error of the day by the Americans. They're now knotted in the error column with the Pilots.
Yeah, it seemed like Huang just make a diving grab for that ball, but unfortunately just couldn't get to the first baseman, Graydon Miller, in time there.
And Blandino continuing to see traffic on the base paths in this 6th inning. Mason Haar, the next customer. It's right where the lineup starts to transition from the best to the more experimental half of the lineup, though. So Blandino looking to get back on track and attack the zone against the bottom half of this order. The 0-1 pitch with 2 ducks on the pond. Fouled off, and Blandino 1 strike away from the second out. This would be a crucial out number 2 with the runner in scoring position in Noah Brooks. Brooks reached on the fielder's choice. Hector reached on the error. All the first 3 base runners have either been tagged out or come in to score. It's a pop-up, and that's going to head down the first base line. Miller's going to make the grab for out number 2. So Graydon Miller makes the catch, and it's 2 down with 2 on for Jacob Paletto. Paletto 1 for 2 with a single, also grounded into a double play, though.
Yeah, I mean, this time it's a little bit different. He's got runners on first and second. Let's see if the Americans can get out of this inning without any more runs coming across here.
In the best inning of the day for these Pilots, they've scored 2 runs to make it a 6-3 ball game. Blandino would still have the quality start if he can escape this inning without any more damage. And an update from the scorer, Riley Drew Cross. It will indeed be a hit for Anthony Hector, the 7th of the day for Newark. That's going to be a line drive in this.
Oh!
And Ian Huang jumping up to prevent it from dropping into center. Ian Huang has been excellent at second base despite the error. We send it to the bottom of the 6th. Pilots cut the lead to 3, though. We'll be right back.
Fans, if you've been to a game, you know that I give away pizza to a lucky fan in the middle of the 3rd inning. But what you might not know is that Sammy's is located right across the street. They've also been family owned and operated for 3 generations since 1962 and originated the half tray of pizza. But if you're hungry at the game, you can stop by the concession stand and get a slice of Sammy's for yourself.
Remember, fans, an Americans game is a great way to entertain a group for the evening, and we're able to offer fundraisers tailored to your group needs. Nonprofits, churches, youth sports, and more. For all group information, please visit our website at www.niagarafallsamericans.com.
We are back for this bottom of the 6th inning. Cosgrove Zeitzer are going to keep pitching with his twin brother, Parker, behind the dish. Shane Prey, Graydon Miller, and Grant Moore will be due up for the Americans. This is a tough crop of hitters for these brothers to face off against. Prey has walked and singled. Miller 1 for 2 with a single, and Graham Moore 2 for 3 with an RBI double.
Yeah, I mean, the Americans have just been hot here tonight, I think, Andrew. They've got 9 hits and 6 runs to show for it, so let's see if they can keep it going in this inning. Maybe get a couple more runs across. for the very well done day for Blandino as they hope to continue this lead to even further.
Only Americans without a hit today are Logan Stickler, Paul Delanto, and Tommy Mathey, and both Stickler and Delanto reached on walks as well, so everybody getting in on the fun here. Alan Ramos coming out to coach first base. It's been a rotation of players at first for the Americans. Everyone getting their turn with the fun. Ooh. That's a high and inside ball one to Shane Prey.
Yes, Shane Prey just got a free shave here at the barbershop.
Prey looking to take his second walk today. We'll foul that one off to even up the count. Shane Prey has walked just once this season, so. Or twice, rather, including today, but looking for his third. That's going to be a liner right into the glove of Anthony Hector. And sent to first base for out number one. It dropped right in front of Hector. And now it's one down for Graydon Miller. Miller 1 for 2. The fly out to center field broke up a streak of 6 consecutive hits for Graydon. See if we can make it 7 out of 8 right here.
Yeah, even with those numbers, Andrew, it's very impressive to see that from Graydon Miller, and he's a very capable hitter. Although he's hitting in the 10 spot today, but he could do some damage here if he gets a swing across here for the Americans.
And a lot of times that 10 spot used as a second leadoff in regards to speed, but I feel like today it's being used as a second leadoff just in terms of how high quality Graydon Miller is as a bat.
Yeah, I mean, from my perspective, it looks like Graydon Miller's kind of a, as you said, second leadoff guy here for Grant Moore. So if he gets on base, we get the next hitter and grab more, and it's very well could be done damage here if Graydon Miller gets on.
Definitely, and it's ones across the board to him right now. The 1-1 pitch will be a breaking ball that stays inside to make it 2-1. Graydon looking for his second hit of the day and 7 in his last 8 at bats. That'll drop on the low outside corner, just out there for ball 3. Miller with the chance to walk. Not as much insurance as they'd maybe like here, so looking to add some more in the bottom of the 6th inning. Payoff pitch will be chopped foul. One doesn't travel far. Just dribbles down that third base line after the early hop. Another payoff pitch from Zeisser in just a moment. He delivers. And that's going to be another chopper down the middle this time. Ooh. And it's bobbled by Hector. Graydon Miller going to reach for the second time today. This time it's on an error by the shortstop Hector. Grant Moore up next. Looking to advance him. And had a runner on first in the form of Shane Prey his last time up. Grounded into fielder's choice. But also had the RBI double earlier today. So we'll see which Grant Moore we get here in the 6th inning. 4th time up, he's 2 for 3. Has reached all 3 times. Swing and a miss for strike 1. Grant Moore has also picked up a pair of stolen bases today. Increases his tally to 27. Zeisser with the 0-1 count. Delivers, and that is going to be the breaking ball. Gets in there on the outside edge for strike 2. Some nice spin to it. Looked like it was going to be inside at first, and drops on the outer edge. 2 strikes on the count. Zeisser looking to strike out Moore. Check swing, but it'll go low, and Moore falling back his bat in time.
Even though Zeisser got ahead there with a 0-2 count on Moore, Moore's always a tough customer, and he's staying alive here.
The 1-2 count. Moore leads the team in walks. So we'll see if he can recover right here. The pitch will be fouled off down the third base line into the stands. Sun is setting here at Sal Magley. But this baseball game is far from over. 3-run difference, the Americans lead in the bottom of the 6th inning. Miller was thinking about a steal, but will hold up on ball 2. 12-6 curve by Zeiser. 2's on the count. Pickoff attempt unsuccessful at first base. Zeiser still just playing catch with his twin brother. How classic. Graham Moore going to foul it off to the left side.
Yeah, I wonder if in their meetings that they had between the Zeiser twins here on the mound, if they're saying something just like, hey, just playing catch, just get the ball across the dish here, and in hopes to ease the mind of each other. Definitely.
That's going to help them out for sure. And that's a line foul down the third base line.
There we go.
A nice play in the stands. Won't count for the out, of course, but definitely counts in the hearts of this stadium.
Yeah, unfortunately we don't play banana ball here, where if a fan catches it, it's not an out, but if only it worked that way, Andrew.
I know Sal Magley's smiling down about that one. And the 2-2 pitch from Zeiser. Another foul ball. Graham Moore really working this count. This at bat has dragged on with one of the most patient hitters in the entire West Division. Was down 0-2 in the count early, has fouled some off and taken some balls to manage to even things up here. But it's a swing and a miss, and Zeiser will win the long battle to strike out Grant Moore for the first time today. Graham Moore, very difficult to strike out. That's only strikeout number 6 this season. Rather 7, but
yeah,
point stands.
Yeah, unfortunately there we see Graham Moore strike out, but the one positive thing out of that is got a lot of pitches out of Zeiser there, so driving up his pitch count here.
Yeah, tiring him out at 33 pitches now, with 2 down on these Americans and 1 on. Came in that 5th inning and continuing here. His day started by giving up a couple of 4-pitch walks, but he's settled in for sure since then. Double play, strikeout, ground out, a reach on an error, and then another strikeout. Ooh. It's an outside ball 1 to even things up on Tommy Mathay. 0 for 3 today, the only hitless American, or rather only American who hasn't reached base. 1 of 3 that are hitless. 1-1 pitch is outside to put the count in Mathay's favor after an early strike. Tommy could reach on the walk here. Counts in his favor. Zeiser's already given up 2 walks today. Could it be 3 right here? The 2-1 pitch is low. And Mathay with a real hitter's count here. We'll see if he gets the green light.
Yeah, it's a 3-1 count. So he's got 1 strike. He's got I would think a free swing, but you never want to be the guy to get the out here. So maybe we'll keep his bat on his shoulder here, look for the walk.
Mathay stayed patient last time in a similar situation. And right there, it'll pay off. Mathay going to take the walk. And earlier today, on a 3-1 count, he held up, thought he had a walk, but then the strike was called late.
Yeah,
this time he wins.
Yeah, Mathay looked like last time he was going to throw the bat, take to first, but got called a strike. Well, this time he gets this walk.
And Gavin Boyle back up for the first time since his homer. See how he can build on that in this 6th inning. 2 ducks on the pond, looking to advance them and or knock them in. Gavin Boyle with his 7th RBI of the year on the homer. One and 0 on the count. Gavin 1 for 3. Grounded out and struck out his first 2 times up. Strikeouts had been a problem for him throughout this season. And that'll drop in for the strike on the breaking ball. Zeiser's off-speed pitches have definitely highlighted his arsenal here today.
Yeah, he's been throwing them and throwing these American pitchers off, and he's been doing very well ever since those walks and when he first came out of the pen.
Mathay on first base after the walk. Miller now on second. One's on the count. Pitch from Zeiser is going to be a backdoor slider to find the strike zone. That was a nasty pitch.
Yeah, just kind of broke into the zone and caught it for a strike, and I'd agree with you, Andrew. That was a very nasty pitch.
Yeah, it looked like it was going to be way outside for the ball, but breaks back in on Gavin. Normally, Gavin Boyle would swing at things in the strike zone, but not right there.
Yeah, kind of would have fooled anyone, really. Looked like it was going to stay outside for a ball, but the last second breaks right back in, as you mentioned, Andrew, and gets it in there for that lucky strike.
2s across the board on Boyle. Could he carry that luck into a double here, potentially? Ooh. It's going to be a broken bat knock right to the second baseman, Brock. The throw to first will be in time for out number 3. Gavin Boyle going to have to find a new bat after the home run and the broken bat hit, but the Americans lead by 3 headed into this 7th inning. We'll be right back. See if Luke Blandino keeps going. Has a quality start right now. We'll be back.
No, I'm kind of thirsty. Me too. We could really use something.
Yeah.
Oh, thanks, Yankee Doodle Dan.
That's better.
Top of the 7th inning here from the barbershop as the sun sets here at the stadium. Americans lead 6-3. Lights are on, and the lights are bright here in this game as well. Pilots trying to come back from this 3-run deficit. Already cut it from 5-3. The 7th inning brought to you by Elks Lodge of Niagara Falls.
New pitcher, 35.
Bikers Against Child Abuse, the Stalka Agency, and Red Robin Gourmet Burgers and Brews. It'll be Matthew Kasperwitz taking over for Luke Blandino. Kasperwitz 0-1 with a 6 ERA and 8 strikeouts, product of SUNY Niagara. Andrew Roberts still here. Avery Vogt will be back with us momentarily. Going for a little hot dog run here for the broadcast booth. Can get your own dogs down at concessions at every single home game. Be sure to join us for the next home game on the 4th of July against the Muck Dogs. It'll be part of a 3-game series that starts on Thursday in Batavia. First pitch for that one will be at 6:30. I'll be on the call solo for that. Have Avery vote on for the 4th of July, and then on July 5th, we'll have a special guest that I've worked for a couple of years now on the Ithaca College radio station with. So she'll be coming to visit and be on the call on Saturday. Stay tuned for that. It'll be Evan Brock to kick things off. Fouled off strike one. And now 1-1 here on the count to Evan. Brock on the day has walked and flown out to Tommy Mathey. 1-1, and the check swing, they will say he went. So count is now in the favor of the new pitcher, Kasperwitz. And that'll be a ground ball right down the third base line. Prey's going to drop it. It's an error by Shane Prey. Rather will go down as a hit. So Evan Brock reaching on the infield single. Likely would have reached anyways. That is hit number 8 for the Pilots. As the number 9 hitter, Alex Wooten, comes up. Wooten at first base today and has a runner on first for his at-bat. That's going to be a foul ball behind the plate for strike one. Big cut and miss. Second strike on the count now. Kasperwitz checking on Brock at first base. He has a lead now. First hit today for Evan. And that'll hit the batter, Wooten. Runners on first and second now. As it's a hit by pitch on Kasperwitz's second batter faced. Parker Zeiser up to bat now. The catcher has been catching for his twin over the last couple of innings. Also has a single at the plate before he grounded into a double play in the 5th inning. Big cut and miss right there for strike one. Parker Zeiser looking for his second hit of the day, but the early 2-strike count by Kasperwitz. Caspy has strived off of painting the edges of the strike zone, and when it works very well. That'll be outside for the first ball on the count. It's 1-2 to the batter, Parker Zeiser. That'll be lined foul behind the plate. Avery Vogt back with us in the booth now. Welcome back. Got some hot dogs for us. Appreciate that all day long.
Yeah, they're always good here at the ballpark. It's good to enjoy one during a game.
And a big cut and miss for strike 3. Matthew Kasperwitz, 3 batters in, gets his first strikeout of the day. Also goes down as his 9th of the season. Next up is Chris Finicario, the leadoff man, single to start off the 6th inning. Now back up already here in the 7th. Pilots have had the bats swinging over these last couple of innings. They have 2 ducks on the pond for Finicario here. Matthew Kasperwitz has found his stride here with the strike zone. That'll be a little dribbler foul to make it 0-2. And Avery, Matthew Kasperwitz, there's been some strong days for him, there's been some rough days for him, but when it comes down to it, when he's painting those edges successfully, he's almost unhittable.
Yeah, as you mentioned, Andrew, up and downs, but it's always how you bounce back, and so far, I mean, He's been painting those corners, as you said, so I think he's a very reliable pitcher. So let's see what it does here to the Pilots.
Runners tried for the double steal there, but the foul ball will cancel that out. Still an 0-2 count on the batter, Finnicario. Kasperwitz checks on Brock at second, and it's going to be a soft line drive right into the glove of Gazaldo for out number 2. Runner's going to have to hold right there. Gazaldo would have easily gunned him out.
Yeah, I mean, he didn't really have to move much there in the shortstop position. Ball came in right by the second base, so yeah, any of the runners would have been out easily, but this is sad to say, and got another batter here for the Pilots.
Nick DiGiacomo 1 for 2. Strikeout and a walk before his single in the 6th inning. First pitch is going to be lined into right field. It'll drop there for a base hit. Base is now juiced as Matei serves as the cutoff man, and the stop sign at third for Evan Brock. Bases are now juiced with 2 outs for Cooper Loyal. Loyal 1 for 3 today with a single. This would be a good time for that second hit.
Yeah, Cooper Loyal is a very loyal hitter, as one would say. He's got a .314 average on the season, so let's see if he gets a knock here.
I mean, this Pilots team, full of good Samaritans. You got Cooper Loyal, you got Paulie Goodness.
Yeah, they got
lots of goodness on the team.
Yeah, a lot of nice guys here on the team, as their last name would suggest.
Yeah, gotta hope they're being nice down to the Americans on the field as well. But it's 2-0 right now to Cooper. And that'll be a pop-up. And Gazaldo is going to be under it. Makes the second consecutive out for these Americans. Chris Gazaldo's been busy this inning. We'll send it to the bottom of the 7th as the heart of the Americans order. Logan Stickler, Paul Delanto, Dalton Harper will be due up after this. We'll be right back.
Fans, if you've been to a game, you know that I give away pizza to a lucky fan in the middle of the 3rd inning. But what you might not know is that Sammy's is located right across the street. They've also been family owned and operated for 3 generations since 1962 and originated the half tray of pizza. But if you're hungry at the game, you can stop by the concession stand and get a slice of Sammy's for yourself.
Back for the bottom of the 7th inning, and I mean, Sweet Caroline playing. We've got hot dogs here. Couldn't be better than this here at the ballpark. But Avery got some announcements for us. Take it away.
Hey fans, Niagara Falls Americans would love to partner with your business. The Americans have lots of options to make your presence known in your community. Please visit our website at www.niagarafallsamericans.com to get involved, and as always, go Americans.
And if you sponsor the Americans, can be right on the broadcast here. We'll read out your business as one of those top of the inning sponsors. But it's 0-1 to Logan Stickler. Will be followed up by Delanto and Harper in this inning. as the Twins keep pitching and catching here for the Pilots. Might as well call the team the Newark Twins at this point. You have a set of twins right here, another pair of brothers that are in different years, but nonetheless. Got the Goodnesses, got the Zeissers.
Yeah, just take up for the Minnesota Twins there. Take their name and everything.
The other brothers on this team a year apart in school, but Parker and Cosgrove gonna complete the strikeout on Logan Stickler. And these two have been firing ever since they settled in that end of the 5th inning. Both just completed their 2nd year of community college. Cosgrove redshirted a year as well. But it's 2-0 to Paul Delanto. Now the count at 2-1.
Yeah, that pitch there looked like it almost was going to maybe clunk Delanto, but instead it breaks back in and gets a strike.
Yeah, some nice off-speed pitches here, but a line drive up the middle for the base hit. Paul Delanto, the first runner on this inning, his first hit of the day.
Americans have reached double-digit hits here today against these Pilots.
Was close to a hit earlier in the game when he reached on the error. It was a close call, but now gets that hit on the board. Dalton Harper has one today. He doubled and knocked in a run. He's reached base every time up in this game, walked, and got hit by the pitch in his other at-bats. 1 down, 1 on for him. The runner is Delanto. And that'll be low. Gets in there for strike 1 on the low edge of the zone. Dalton Harper. Second-year American. And played here in the spring for SUNY Niagara as well. Gets in there to make it 2 strikes on the count. Avery Vogt going to be back with us momentarily. Stepping in on the DJ stand for a little bit. Harper looking to advance Delanto here, and he's going to drive another one up the middle. It's going to drop in front of the center fielder Finicario for the base hit. Runners now on first and second, as Chris Gazaldo comes up to bat next. Gazaldo is on the day 1 for 3. Grounded into a double play, grounded into a fielder's choice, and had the single to start off his day. Zeisser pitching to him with 2 on and 1 out. The lead runner is Paul Delanto at second base. So he's in scoring position now, a ball on the count. Gazaldo looking to make it 8 multi-hit games this season. And knock in Delanto from second base. 1-0 pitch from Zeisser. Will go wild. Runners advance. Now both are in scoring position. Delanto at third, Harper at second. That one going way past Parker Zeisser. You would think that these brothers are on the same page in terms of their pitches. I think that was simply just a matter of a missed throw by Cosgrove. Wasn't what Parker was expecting from him. So more of a mechanical error on that one. It's 3-0 on the breaking ball. That drops too low. Chris Gonzaldo, if he walks, it would load the bases. Would be the third given up by Cause Zeiser. And that'll be ball 4 outside. Umpire confirming, motioning him over to first base. Bases are now juiced for Ian Huang. Huang already has 1 hit today. And Avery Vogt is back with us. And Avery, since you left, a lot more traffic on the bases.
Yeah, these Americans have been getting on base with only 1 out, so with a very well-refined hitter here in Ian Huang, and can knock in some runs here and extend our lead even more.
And if Zeiser's command of the strike zone is starting to falter here, not exactly the time for it, as he has nowhere to put Ian Huang.
Yeah, he's got no free bags open, so this ball's got to be placed somewhere.
And that'll be fouled off, or rather, yeah, that will end up foul. Down the third base line. Ian Huang with the bases juiced. It's Delanto on third, Harper on second, and now Gonzaldo on first after the walk. Ones across the board, Ian Huang. Huang came into this game batting .278. The 1-for-3 day thus far should help that out. There's going to be another one that nearly gets away from the catcher, Zeiser. Paul Delanto was thinking about home plate there.
Yeah, it seemed like he was going to take a step towards home and think about it, but would have been a tight play, so stays there over at third. Keeps it alive.
Looking to knock in these runners anyways. 2-1, and that's fouled off to even up the count. But yeah, Delanto and Harper had significant leads on their bases. We're starting to head over, and then they realized that Zeiser had a hold of that one.
Yeah, it kind of took him a second to realize that, yeah, there's probably no chance of going home, so rather play it safe and sorry.
Would have been out number 2 and possibly even number 3. That's going to be a
Yes!
liner into left field over the head of Hector for the base hit. 1-run score, second one coming around. Harper and Delanto from scoring position to home plate. Americans now lead 8-3. 12th hit of the day.
Yeah, just a nice piece of hitting there from Ian Huang, driving 2 runs in, and it's a very productive at-bat there for him.
Wanger, as they call him, with a huge knock. And now the Zeiser brothers meeting on the mound. Cause will be done. Marcus Smith pulling him in favor of a new pitcher. We'll get you word on who that is in just a moment. Going to be a right-hander. And that new pitcher is Grant Ingram. Bit of a two-way player for this team. Hasn't pitched in a while, but coming in with the 5-run deficit.
Yeah, it's not a great spot to be put in, but let's see what he does here with the runners on first and second here for the Americans.
We have 2 ducks on the pond, and it'll be Shane Prey. 1 for 2 on the day, looking for his second hit and third time on base. It's been 4 consecutive base runners to reach for these Americans. Single, single, walk, single. After the strikeout looking by Stickler to start off the inning. So still just 1 down as the new pitcher Ingram warms up. Also a big bat, but hasn't been in the lineup yet tonight. Wonder if maybe he'll take over for one of the extra hitters as well.
Yeah, I mean, when you have a player that can do both sides of the ball, it makes sense to make use of him. Kind of a Shohei Ohtani kind of player here with him. So we'll see if he draws into the lineup, maybe get some extra help here for the Pilots.
Seen a couple of teams mess around with that this season. Whether it be the Auburn Double Days bringing in Tyler Vivacqua to pitch when he was already in the lineup, or the Ironbacks the other day having Alex Keene start the game as a hitter and pitcher.
Yeah, and that same game as well, we saw Mitch McKinney come in, who I believe he was the extra hitter that game, and came in and pitched as well for the Ironbacks.
their first two pitchers were players in the starting lineup. So that was an interesting strategy. Ingram,
Yeah.
not in the starting lineup today, but a 286 hitter with an 856 OPS.
So, yeah,
10
clearly,
RBIs. Two-way players definitely way more common at this level than the professional level.
yeah, I mean, when you have players like this trying to find their strides and just figure out exactly what they're proficient at, but when you have players like this, like Ingram, you have players on both sides of the ball, so it's definitely effective here for the team.
Yeah. And last summer, one of the best two-way players in all of the PGCBL was the Brockport product, Zach Eldred. Faced my Ithaca Bombers earlier this season. An excellent two-way player, dominated at Brockport and dominated for the Amsterdam Mohawks last summer.
Yeah, when you see a player like that come along, it's not very often you see someone as proficient as him in both sides of the ball, but coming out of a close school to me in Brockport, it's always good to see players pull that off.
Brockport was an excellent baseball program this past season, and Eldred was a big reason for it.
Yeah, it's always good to see
Nationally ranked
players from the PGCBL go out there and rake for their college teams. So
not only rake, but deal on the mound as well.
yeah, I mean, it's always good to see both sides of the ball, as you mentioned, but it's very impressive to see and do.
But Shane Prey will be up with runners on first and second. First pitch from the new pitcher, Grant Ingram, goes low for ball one. Shane Prey looking for his second knock of the day. Has Huang on first, Gazaldo the lead runner on second. 1-0 pitch will be lined down the third base line for the base hit, or grounded rather, but run coming around to score, and Shane Prey will head into second in time for the double. So Shane Prey not only getting his second hit of the day, but going extra bases.
Yeah, he just drove a hot shot down the third base line. Knocks in a run here for the Americans. Extend the lead to 6 here in the bottom of the 7th.
Classic double down the line. It's a hit you see frequently at all levels. And now Graydon Miller up with two more runners in scoring position. The Americans already up 9-3 in Avery. If you look at that scoreboard, up 6 runs. The game-ending run is on deck.
Yeah, I mean, we don't want to jinx it here, Andrew, but as you've mentioned, yes, we got some big bats coming up, especially here with Graydon Miller. Could possibly see a rule come across here for the Americans. I don't want to mention it, but you know what rule I'm thinking of, Andrew.
Definitely, but it's 0-2 to Miller right here. Graydon Miller has already reached twice today, single, and then reached on an error by the shortstop Hector. Hector, bit of a rough one out there today, but a great player overall. Ooh. And that's going to be a line drive into the outfield, drops in for another base hit. 1 run scores, second run coming around, and sliding in just in time is Shane Prey. Prey and Huang scoring on the 2-run knock by Graydon Miller. It's now 11-3.
Wow, these Americans have been hot tonight. Graydon Miller with a nice knock there, drives in 2 more runs, and man, they just keep running the score up here against the Pilots.
Yeah, this was the score a week or so back against the Red Wings. Not something you'd really expect against a team like Newark, who's right in that playoff race.
Yeah, I mean, especially last time when the Americans unfortunately lost to them, but now they're kind of turning a different page here for the Americans, and they're really showing their growth here and showing their very, very well-produced bats here.
Grant Moore takes the ball, and I mean, you have this rally going, and now Grant Moore representing the tying run. Couldn't get better than this for the game-ending run, but couldn't get better than this for the Americans.
Yeah, I mean, who else would you rather have than Grant Moore? I mean, there's very few guys you want over Grant Moore. He's a very well-rounded player. He can pretty much do it all besides pitch, but steal bases, he can snag you ball in the outfield. This kid could do it all.
Graydon Miller, not necessarily known for his steals, but with Grant Moore behind him, might be encouraged to run.
Yeah, I mean, he's got Graydon Miller's a very tall man. I believe he's around 6'7", 6'6". He's got those long legs, so maybe he could put those legs to use and get on the path here with Grant Moore up at bat.
Yeah, it's 2-1. Miller on the season, still looking for his first steal. Graham Moore, the count now even after a foul tip. Moore leading the team with 27 steals this season. Also has a total of 7 extra base hits, including the double tonight. Leads the league in triples with 4. Just an excellent player. Looking to get on again here. It's an outside ball 3. He's gotten on with a single tonight, gotten on with a double. Could it be a walk right here, perhaps?
Yeah, we got a full count here to Grant Moore. Might see some action here at first base with Grady Miller. Might use those long getaway sticks to get to second here.
Love that getaway sticks, and instead it's going to be a liner into the left field for the base hit. And now it's runners on first and second. Base hit onto the left field side for Graham Moore. Tommy Mathay with 2 runners on. His biggest moment yet. Graham Moore, the game-ending run, is now on first base. Mathay with the chance to knock him in. Pilots have Grant Ingram pitching, who came in as a two-way player, but has appeared just 3 times on the mound for the Pilots. 0-1. So this will be his 4th appearance, but now 1's across the board to Tommy Mathay. One's across the board right here. Mathay looking to knock in some more runs and takes the ball low. Walk would load the bases for Gavin Boyle, and I mean, already has 1 home run tonight.
Yeah, I don't want to, jinx it, Andrew, but that'd be the perfect time for another one from Gavin Boyle.
That's going to be outside. 3 balls on the count. We're getting closer and closer to a potential of juiced bases for Boyle. It's what he only could have hoped for back in that 5th inning when the bases got juiced right after his home run.
Hey, Andrew, we've seen the bases loaded a lot tonight. It seems as
a pop-up, though. And it'll be caught for out number 2. So just 2 runners on for Gavin, but home run would still end it.
Yeah, it seems like we're getting to that point, Andrew, of the score. But as I mentioned before, we've had a lot of players on the base path, getting a lot of bases loaded with a lot of juice on the bases. Some might say the juice is loose, but these Americans have been really swinging the bat hot tonight.
Would be their 3rd win by mercy rule on the season. They had the same lead against Geneva, and it stopped here, so don't want to assume anything. 1 ball outside to Gavin Boyle. Grant Ingram, I mean, based on that first pitch, almost seems like he's pitching around Boyle here.
Yeah, doesn't want to intentionally walk, but he just doesn't want to give him that chance to go yard again, so let's see how this approach goes for the rest of this at bat.
It's 2-0. Not going to wave the finger to intentionally walk him here, but certainly feels like an intentional walk, even if it's not one in name.
Yeah, not going to have the catcher's icer, sit outside the box and give him the old Barry Bonds treatment, but he gets a strike in there, so maybe change up his approach there.
Painting the corners here, that's going to be how he has to get his strikes against a guy like Boyle. I mean, Boyle has swung and missed it a lot, though, so interesting approach from Ingram. The 2-1 pitch is going to be way outside. A walk of Gavin Boyle would juice up the bases, and it would mean the Americans have batted around. Logan Stickler on deck, looking to come up for the 2nd time this inning. The 3-1 pitch is fouled off to fill up the count. Gavin Boyle, another high-stakes moment. If he strikes out here, the inning's over. If he walks, it loads the bases. If he knocks in both these runners, the game is over. Here's the payoff pitch from Ingram. Swing and a miss. Gavin Boyle goes down swinging for the second time tonight. The Americans bring up all 10 batters, but unable to bring up Stickler for the second time. We will play an 8th inning of baseball here at the barbershop. Americans lead 11-3 and look to end it in the 8th. We'll be right back.
No, I'm kind of thirsty. Me too. We could really use something.
Yeah. Oh, thanks.
Yankee Doodle Dan.
That's better.
Back for the top of the 8th here at Sal Maglie Stadium. Americans lead 11-3. And this 8th inning is brought to you by Seneca Niagara Resort and Casino, the official casino of the Americans. More winning, more comfort, more entertainment. Go to SenecaNiagaraCasino.com for more. Had the chance to check out the venue a couple of times now. Very nice place. But the Doubledays leading the Red Wings over in Geneva, 3-2, top of the 9th. That's going to be a close one. As these Americans, the only other West Division game in action, we're going to close out this victory here in the 8th.
Yeah, they've just done very well here tonight. We had a nice start from Luke Landino, keeping the runs to a minimal, and Americans' bats have just been hot today to back up that strong pitching outing. So we'll see how the rest of this game goes.
Tough customer and Noah Brooks to start things off, already up 2-0 in this count. Brooks without a hit today, but coming off the PGCBL Player of the Week award. And takes ball 3. Getting a visit from Apollo up here in the press box right now. 3-1 on the count. Apollo says hello to all the viewers, and it's a line drive into right field for the base hit. Noah Brooks is on first base to start off this inning. Anthony Hector looking to follow him up with another one. Apollo, practically our third member of the broadcast for a moment there, Avery.
Yeah, he likes to fly around and come up here sometimes, come pay us a visit. Yeah, he's like our third man and has a bird eye view, if you have a lack for better terms, if you know what I mean.
Yeah. Don't exactly see him flying all too often here. Noah Brooks just took second base on strike 1. So the steal for Noah with a strike on Hector. But, I mean, certainly have been some birds in flight here at the barbershop. Mostly seagulls.
Yeah, they seem to know that we have a bird problem here. And there's a picture early here taken by Riley Drew Cross over here. All of them on the field by the squawk boxes, so it didn't seem to be working as they were supposed to.
Got out of here in time for the game, but it's 1-2. I think they have enough respect to stay off the field when the players are there and when the fans are in the stadium.
Yeah, I mean, don't
keep their distance.
Don't want to be flying across the plate and get a ball thrown at you like Randy Johnson did, but we'll see what happens with these birds.
Don't want batters thinking, oh, like, am I going to hit the ball or am I going to hit the seagull?
Yeah, I mean, the ball and the seagulls are pretty much similar in color, so yeah, might throw these batters off a little bit. But
2-2 pitch is going to be a high chopper. And Gazaldo moving over. He was shifted, but the throw to first is going to get there in time. Chris Gazaldo, a huge play against the Pilots' own shortstop, Anthony Hector. Brooks in a third now after the steal in advance. But it's one down as Mason Haar comes up. Matthew Kasperwitz got through the two toughest customers for the Pilots here in this inning, but Mason Haar up next. No slouch himself, has a walk on the day, but 0 for 2. Already a ball on this count. Check swing, but he pulls it back. That's 2-0 as Haar looks for his second walk of the day to make it runners on the corners for Jacob Paletto. Ooh. Instead, a foul ball right into the netting behind home plate for the first strike. Beautiful sunset here. You can see it as you look around to the edges of the field.
Yeah, I'm looking into the sun setting here, and it looks like some cotton candy you can buy down at the concession stand.
But a close call there. It's 3-1 on the check swing. That did not go around. It's a high pop-up. Harper's right under it, and he will make the grab for out number 2. Noah Brooks going to have to stay put. That is a critical pop-out. The second pop-up in a row by Mason Haar.
Yeah.
Back-to-back at-bats.
Seemed like Harper was trying to catch that ball there. I don't think it was on purpose, but the umpire got in the way a little bit, but didn't seem to affect Harper as he still caught that ball.
Maybe the umpire's going to make a grab one of these days. But Jacob Paletto up next with the runner on third. And it's fouled off for strike 1. Americans have had 15 hits today. The Pilots at 10, but leaving a lot of runners on. It's a fly ball in foul territory. Prince chasing after it and makes the grab for out number 3. Some great range by the Americans defenders in this inning. We'll send it to the bottom of the 8th as they look to close this out.
My fellow American fans, my name is Frankie Morris, your social media manager. You can join us all summer long with many promotional nights and tickets just as low as $10. You can call and get tickets at 716-215-6161 and take a crack at the action.
Hey fans, we'd like to thank everyone for coming out to the park tonight, and remember that Americans game is a great way to bring your group together, whether it's a school, church, business, or youth sports organization. The Americans are also able to offer great options and even picnics for your organization or business. Reserve your group online at www.niagarafallsamericans.com.
I'd also like to thank everyone who tuned in to the broadcast here today. Andrew Roberts here with every vote for the bottom of the 8th. And Americans will be back at home on the 4th of July, but their next game is on Thursday in Batavia. First pitch in that one will be at 6:30. You can catch all the action right here on the Americans Baseball Network.
Yeah, Andrew, I just took a little day trip up to Batavia. Went to their field today to pick up some of the team photos, but yeah, Batavia's got a nice park out there. Never seen it before, but it was definitely one to look at.
Yeah, very nice press box there, too. One of my favorites to broadcast from. That team also proudly owned by the Nichols family, who owns these Americans, alongside Mark Witt and his wife Tabitha. But in this bottom of the 8th, the Americans up 8 runs, and Logan Stickler will kick it off for the second consecutive inning. Stickler struck out looking to start the 7th, but after that, there was a stretch of consecutive base runners reaching that spanned all the way from the number 5 hitter Paul Delanto around to the leadoff man Grant Moore. 7 in a row before the final 2 outs coming against Tommy Mathey and Gavin Boyle. That was an unbelievable stretch for the Americans. They'll look to get something going again here in this bottom of the 8th with Stickler up. Big cut and miss, strike 1. Stickler swinging for those fences. He was close to being part of that Americans home run club with Boyle, Delanto, and Madison.
Yeah, Andrew, I know you got that home run robbed back in by the umpire, but in my heart, and I hope everyone's heart here at the Americans, that they still count that home run. And unfortunately, it doesn't go on the stat sheet, but I still think he earned that home run.
2 strikes on him now, I agree, but that pop-up going foul as the catcher Zeisser and the first baseman Wooten chasing after it to no use. It's going to be one of the Cub Scouts, part of our color guard today, that'll pick it up. The 0-2 pitch is upstairs to make it 1-2 on the count to Sticklers, right near his helmet. But a little further over the plate, so it didn't hit him. The 1-2 pitch is going to be driven into deep left field. It's going back, and that ball is going to drop in the warning track for out number 1.
Almost got excited there, Andrew. Almost thought he got his redemption.
He was very close. He's hit a couple of them to the warning track since that home run. Another one in opposite field right after on that Sunday against Batavia. Paul Delanto up next with one down on the Stickler flyout. Deeply hit ball, but tracked down by Jacob Paletto for the out. The opposite of where Boyle's home run went. Ooh. And that's fouled off right behind the plate for strike 1 on Pauly. Delanto facing Grant Ingram, who came out of the pen in the 7th inning for his 4th appearance as a pitcher. Has also played in a lot more games on the batting side of things. Ingram playing in a total of 12 games. That'll drop low to make it 2-1. Delanto looking to get on for the 3rd, or rather 4th time in a row. Reached on an error, walked, and then singled. The 2-1 pitch is going to be upstairs on the breaking ball. Ingram was looking to have that drop into the strike zone.
Yeah, but
stays high.
But as you mentioned, Delanto here has gotten on with a walk, a single, and a reach on air, so it seems as though he's being very efficient on getting on the base here today.
That's going to be a grounder right to the third baseman, Loyal. Sent across the field for out number 2. So Delanto retired there. It was a nicely hit ball, but the 5-3 ground out as he's unable to beat it out at first base. Dalton Harper up next, and he's reached 4 times in a row. Hit by pitch, double, walk, and single.
Yeah, he's been very good today. He had a couple RBI double with a hit earlier in the game, and he's done very well here for the Americans today.
What a way to bounce back. I mean, he was a little tired out from all those days in a row catching. Finally got his day off on Monday, and now it's paying off on Tuesday. He's showing out right after that day off. Had gone hitless 3 games in a row, and now 2 tonight.
Yeah, he's swinging the bat, but not only is he swinging the bat, he's done very well behind the dish tonight. Catching some pop-ups, doing everything he's been doing behind the plate, keeping these pitchers in check, and he had a very well game for Dalton Harper here today.
2-0 pitch is going to be lined into left field for the base hit. That's his 3rd hit of the day. Harper going to stop there. He thought about second, but he'll head back to first.
And his day just keeps getting better for Harper. Another great hit right there for him.
Harper now 3 for 3 with a perfect on-base percentage on the day. Chris Gazzaldo up next. Also has reached multiple times, single and a walk, looking to make it his 8th multi-hit game of the season and advance. Dalton Harper with 2 outs. Represents the game-ending run. That's a fly ball down the right field line. It'll drop foul and hop into the batting cage area. Gazzaldo, been one of the best hitters all year long for these Americans, especially when it comes to making contact. Not necessarily known as a power guy, but singles galore for Gazzaldo all season long.
Yeah, you can't.
I'll be way over his head. But as you were saying,
yeah, you can't be mad about it. As you said, Andrew, he's a single machine. He's making contact. As a coach, you can't be mad about that. If he's getting on base with these hits, I mean, hey, it sounds like a good day at the office for him.
Almost reminds me of one of my favorite Red Sox players. Not a lot of Sox fans are huge on him, but Masataka Yoshida. Ooh, I see a lot of parallels between him and Gazzaldo at the plate, and the plus that Gazaldo has over Yoshida is he can play a great shortstop as well. Yoshida mostly DHing. But it's 2-1 to Gazaldo. That'll be another inside pitch to make it 3-1 on Chris. Gazaldo looking for his second walk of the day here. But it'll instead catch the strike zone. Count is now full. Big moment for Chris Gazaldo. 2 down, full count. Harper on first base. What will he do here? He'll take ball 4. Runners on first and second. That game-ending run now on base for Ian Huang. Ian Huang getting Chris Gazaldo's walk-up song for a brief moment there, but now switching to his own. And Chris Gazaldo, with that pair of walks tonight, will now total 5 on the season. Those walks going to help his on-base percentage, which was pretty similar to his batting average most of the year. And it's fouled off. A line drive by Huang down the third base line will drop near the stands. Little kid chasing after it, running at full speed right there. Wow. I don't know how he still has energy in this bottom of the 8th.
Yeah, it's been a fairly long game here, but yeah, got some fans still worked up here in the crowd.
Game has gone just about 3 hours here. Big cut and miss by Huang. Put Ingram 1 strike away. And stepping back in is Huang. Last chance to drive in some runs and shorten this game. But first it'll be a timeout. Zeisser coming in to meet with Ingram. Just a brief meeting to discuss what to throw on the 2-strike count to Huang. Switch hitter has batted from the left side all night. Pilots have only deployed righties against these Americans. Makes sense given the righty-heavy lineup as a whole. 6 righties to 3 lefties and a switch hitter. That'll drop in there for strike 3. Ian Huang goes down looking. Ingram gonna fool him, and we'll have a full 9-inning baseball game. Americans gonna look to close it out when we're back.
Fans, if you've been to a game, you know that I give away pizza to a lucky fan in the middle of the 3rd inning. But what you might not know is that Sammy's is located right across the street. They've also been family owned and operated for 3 generations since 1962 and originated the half tray of pizza. But if you're hungry at the game, you can stop by the concession stand and get a slice of Sammy's for yourself.
Back here for the top of the 9th from Sal Maglie. Joe Chaya stepping in for his SUNY Niagara teammate Matthew Kasperwitz. And this 9th inning is sponsored by Casella, Solino Plumbing, Blaze Brockway Contracting, and Wright Beverages. You can get all your alcoholic beverages thanks to Wright down at Deb's Beer Garden. Emma Crocker, the assistant operations manager, serving every single game. Joe Chaya on the year is 0-0 with a 7.15 ERA and 13 strikeouts. ERA really ballooned by his first appearance, but since then, a similar strategy to his SUNY Niagara teammate Kasperwitz. Painting those corners has been the move for Chaya when he's at his best. This will go down as Chaya's 8th relief appearance this season. Has served exclusively as a reliever for this team. That's pretty rare, as the Americans were experimenting with a lot of different starters back in June. Now looking to settle into a rotation here in July. It's strike one down the pike to Evan Brock. He'll be followed up in this inning by Alex Wooten and Parker Zeiser, the catcher. Chaya looking to end this quick. It's 1-1. Evan Brock, the second baseman tonight, pretty new to these Pilots. Fouls one off, and Joe Chaya has a second strike. Now just need that corner pitch to finish off the batter Brock here. See if he can do it. That's going to go a little bit up high and on the outside to even things up at 2s. Evan Brock will take another one outside. Count is now full. Joe Chaya is looking to get out of this quick, but won't be all that easy here in the 9th. The payoff pitch will be upstairs again. It's ball 4. Joe Chaya walking a man to start off his day. Joe Chaya, honestly, his performance is varied a little bit based on who the umpire is as well. Some strike zones working better for him than others.
Yeah, I mean, he's, like you said before, Andrew, he's trying to paint those corners, and usually those corners are dependent on, like you said, the umpires, but we'll see as this outing for Chaya goes, and we'll see if these umps maybe call a few strikes here for him.
Yeah, it's ball 1 first, though, and another one outside as Harper has to move over. Americans have had 16 knocks today to score 11 runs. Pilots have scored just 3 on their double-digit hit total. 3 consecutive balls thrown by Chaya to Alex Wooten. You do not want to mess around with the top of this order. Swing and a miss for strike 1. Chaya bringing the heat and forcing the swing. Wooten, interestingly, getting the green light on the 3-0, and now taking off for second base is Evan Brock, but he'll have to go back on the foul ball. Count is suddenly full. Wooten, 2 quick strikes on him.
Yeah, Chaya was throwing some balls there, but he bailed back, and he's like, I got this full count with this payoff pitch.
He's realizing with this bottom of the order he can attack, but right there it's going to be a little bit off target inside for ball 4. Open to attack against Parker Zeiser. Alex Wooten has reached base 4 times today without a proper at-bat. Walk, hit by pitch, and then 2 walks to start off his day. So perfect on-base percentage, no at-bats. It's an outside ball 1 to Zeiser, who's reached just once today. The RBI single his first time up in that 3rd inning. 2 ducks on the pond. Chaya looking to avoid loading up these bases. There he finds the strike zone on the inside edge. A little more confident throwing those strikes against the bottom of this order.
Nice.
Gets the strike zone again on that inside corner. Chaya with the count in his favor. Here's the 1-2 pitch. It'll be fouled off to keep Zeiser alive. Zeiser here with his twin Cosgrove. Got the chance to play some catch with him earlier today. Right on the mound in game. It's 2-2 to Parker. Maybe a last name twin with his brother Cosgrove, but also a first name twin with one of our sales interns here, Parker Gurnett. Had him on the broadcast the other day. Count is now full on Zeiser. Joe Chaya has had a couple of these full counts. Payoff pitch right here is upstairs. Bases are now juiced. And this is a tough situation because now it goes back around to the top of the order, and there's nowhere to put Finnicario.
Yeah, he's a very dangerous hitter. Coming into this game with a .435 batting average, he's not someone you want to give a hit up to, so we'll see how Chaya approaches this at bat.
The good thing is if Chaya doesn't feel confident continuing to go, the Americans well rested in their bullpen after the day off, and also very minimal pitchers used in Sunday's games. Robert Leach is available, as well as Jake Rocher, according to manager Will Cordero. So one of them could come in and finish this game potentially. It's a line drive up the middle. That's going to go right to Graham Moore. Tagging up for home is Evan Brock. He will score. It's now 11-4, but the Americans still comfortably ahead with runners on first and second, and now one down. And forcing that softer contact. It was still pretty hard hit, but
yeah,
Graham Moore able to field that pretty easily.
Yeah, Joe Chaya getting one of the better bats out of the way there with a drive right to Graham Moore, and gets a nice first out here for Chaya.
Nick DiGiacomo up next has singled in back-to-back at-bats. On the day, 2 for 3, 2 singles and a walk. One down, 2 ducks on the pond. Chaya looking to avoid loading those bases again, but it's an upstairs ball 1. Harper having to reach up for it. Dalton Harper been very solid behind the plate today. And that'll get in there on the inside corner for strike 1. A surprising strike call, but goes in Chaya's favor. That'll be on the low edge for strike 2. Gotta wonder if this umpire just wants to go home.
Expanding the strike zone here, Andrew. Just wants to go home and see the wife and kids.
Swinging a miss, and down goes the number 2 hitter, Nick DiGiacomo, on the strikeout by Chaya, his first of the day.
Yeah, you can't really blame that one on the ump with his little bit of an expanded zone. That was just a swing, so nice strikeout there for Chaya.
So that'll send down the batter DiGiacomo, and a very close shave to Cooper Loyal to start things off right here. The Americans, so many hits today, and a good portion of them coming in that 7th inning when they had 6 total hits and drove in grand total of 5 runs on those. It's now a count of 2-1 from Chaya to Loyal. See what he throws here. That is right down the pike, and it's popped up. Graydon Miller chasing it down in the outfield, and it'll drop in foul territory. So no damage there, but could have been out number 2. Or rather, out number 3.
Yeah, it looked like Graydon Miller was trying to track that ball down. Seems like the ball went a little off from the spot he expected, so stays alive here.
Definitely, and it's 2s across the board after that foul ball to Cooper Loyal. This is a big moment for Joe Chaya. He can end it right here. Started off with 3 consecutive walks, but has given up just 1 run. That gets in there for strike 3. Game over. Joe Chaya ends the game with consecutive strikeouts, and the Americans win 11-4. This game was nearly over in 7 innings, but the Americans are going to hold on with ease to increase their record to 16-8. What a finish for these Americans. And Avery, happy to have you on the call again. What a game we were in for here today.
Yeah, I mean, that was a terrific game by the Americans. I feel that was one of the best I've seen out of this team. I mean, 16 hits across the boards for these Americans. That was just a stellar performance. And I got to give my flowers to Luke Blandino. He had a great outing here for the Americans. Definitely a pitcher they can rely on to keep the score down, which he did. And Americans win here by 8 against the Pilots.
Yeah, well, we could give out some players of the game right here. I'm going to give my player of the game to Dalton Harper. Reached base every time he was up, had a 3-hit game, and was excellent behind the plate. Luke Blandino not going to do what he did without Dalton Harper behind him.
Yeah, like you said, Dalton Harper, he had some good hits, get some ribbies across, and was terrific behind the plate. I was going to give him the player of the game for me, but since you took him, you know who I'm going to give it to, Andrew? I'll let you give a guess.
I'm going to guess Gavin Boyle.
You got it, Andrew. I mean, Gavin Boyle gets that home run. It was a great part of the game, gets that home run across, and finally gets his first one of the season here for the Americans.
Well, we thank you to all our listeners for tuning into the broadcast, and thank you, Avery, for joining me on the broadcast.
Always happy to be here, Andrew.
But thank you so much to everyone who watched and listened to today's call. Final score from Sal Magley, Americans 11, Pilots 4. We'll be back on Thursday in Batavia.